Hello, everybody. Welcome to NASA Season 4, Week 6. I'm Lego Mage here with AJ Cannon, and we have got a couple really nice series, really solid series to bring you. Today, our first one, Dog versus PLX. A bit of an interesting one, PLX being incredibly dominant team, but later in the day, I want to point this out. We have a named team versus Pass, and they are battling for basically a sixth place playoff spot right now. They're tied for it, so that's a really interesting one. Big game for both those teams, but that's coming up later. Right now, it's Dog versus PLX, and Dog 0-5 right now, not doing great. PLX second in the league, putting up some absolutely dominating performances. So it's going to be a bit of a tough one for Dog. They're coming in as the underdogs here, but we'll see if they're able to pull one out. They've got everyone's favorite caster, Envy, subbing in on that goalie spot. So it's looking to be an interesting one nonetheless. And AJ, can you tell us a little bit about this series, getting into it on game one?
Yeah, absolutely. So one interesting thing to note here is that you might notice that Dog was the second team. That is their choice. They won the coin flip to determine who goes in the map order, and they chose to pick second in the maps. And so this is their strategy. And PLX starts it off by banning CTC, followed by an Inky's ban, two pretty common bans. CTC has been gaining some traction. A lot of people have really been enjoying the map in the pro scene, but it still remains below the big three. And so it's not picked as often. So pretty standard, I would say, first two bans there. At Lab pickup, Oni Village, both fairly standard. Oni Village has also been falling a little bit in prevalence. But again, still one of the big three, still one of the really common picks up here. So I don't think there's anything at this point too unconventional. The one thing that is unconventional is the night market ban by Dog. So maybe worried about being brawled out. And so they're going to ban that, meaning that we have a Gates ban leading to Demon Dice on the final pick there. So we're going to be At Lab first match, Oni Village second match, and if it goes to best of three, we're going to see Demon Dice coming out. So that's going to be a pretty interesting one. We're going to go sort of At Lab, which is the sort of fusion between Control and Brawl. You can play it either way. Sometimes people play it both ways. And we sort of have one KO team versus one control team, to Oni Village, which is pretty much pure control, and then all the way on the other end, Demon Days, which is almost exclusively brawling. You can control, but a lot of it comes down to how good you can brawl your opponents out.
Yeah, Demon is definitely a KO heavy, very volatile map. Every time we've seen it, it's been a bit of a swingy type thing. You either very confident on it with the KO comps, or you just kind of flounder. So having it be the game 3 pick is possibly a little bit scary there for the side of Dog, but we'll see if they're able to manage to clutch it out in the first two games, which does seem a bit unlikely. But we'll find out though. We have these character picks as well coming in. We got Envy on the Finny goalies. An interesting comp coming out from Dog here. You got Zentaro slooping on the now, and Finny goalie here on the 1-2 punch glass cannon start. Meanwhile, PLX are rocking the Zay Forever Kazan, Cows on the Estelle, and Vaga with the eject button Aimee, which, I mean, At Lab is one of Aimee goalie's best maps. So really strong team composition coming out from PLX, and something a little bit more, dare I say, unusual from the side of Dog. I like what they got rocking, though. I think that they'll have the potential to kind of compete with some damage, as well as provide a fair bit of core control. But we are seeing PLX kind of off to an early lead here, so we'll see if they're kind of able to recover or not. But also, I want to point out, Switch actually brought Siphoning Wand instead of Slicks as well on the Zentaro, so maybe they are playing into the damage here.
Yeah, definitely appears that way, which is very interesting. From their picks and bans, they seemed almost afraid of the KO comps. But they're playing one here on At Lab, so we can see how well it goes for them. I'm predicting an early lead at the very least for PLX, because usually those KO comps tend to be a little slow to start, but when you do have a Now who has that really good base damage, we are seeing that Zay is actually already shattered, but still able to do much. They just don't have the ability to kill Zay just yet. And that is going to be Envy just barely saving the core there. Core flip from Aimee into core flip from Envy. Manages to save it with the counter core flip. And the core is just hovering in front of the goal here. Finally gets cleared. Red core, we are in overtime now. And the Aimee ult is going to almost head to bottom. Piercing shot, not good enough from Cows. Envy does a bit of a Soren angle there to clear buys a little bit of time, and now it's back in the hand of PLX.
Yeah, PLX got those barriers really quick, but struggled to find that point. And now it's actually Dog who have brought down the barriers, and there's the point from Switch, able to just get it past Vaga's glitch pop. So it will be Dog first on the board here. A little bit of a surprising turn of events. The defense was holding quite well on that open net. A few moments where they were able to get the core just far enough away from Zay and Cows to prevent the score and then drag it out into these longer sets. So PLX, they definitely shouldn't underestimate Switch and Sloopin. They're definitely very solid offensive players. And now it's Dog who have actually brought down both the barriers first here. With some passing plays coming out, core flip here from Switch will get cut off by the firewall sentry, though, unfortunately. But a KO from Switch onto Cows is going to mean the power play is here for the side of Dog. Sloopin with the flip now, passing up to Switch. Vaga saves it away with the cyber swipes, though. And now it's Envy trying to set something up once again, trying to keep this thing going. Grand Finale's coming out. Vaga saves it once, but Sloopin is there on the rebound. And now it's Dog who are up 2-0.
Yeah, again, the classic gambit. You sacrifice your score in order to get a barrier, in this case, to get a goal. Sure, they get a little bit of experience, but you get the point, which is even more experience across your entire team. So it's a really nice, good find by Dog there. Not a lot of people retreat in that power play, that 2v3, but Dog just kept on going out. They got that Dog in them. They're not giving up. They're just going to keep on fighting. Now as well can heal herself, even though she's shattered. It doesn't actually mean that much to her. She just uses ult and boom, back to almost full HP. Almost a perfect Fanny ult there, almost gets the barrier, but it does go back across to get the bottom barrier. It's one barrier to one barrier now. Sloopin now a little bit low on health, but uses secondary to heal up. Cows very, very low there. Switch trying to get the kill there, but it's not enough. Use the core flip to get the barrier, but does not actually get Cows. And now, of course, back in front of the goal there. Can Envy hold on? The answer so far is yes, and Zay Forever is looking very low once again. Two people very close to death on the side of PLX. One down. Now it's a power play, 3-2. Cows did regenerate a little bit of HP. They're going to look to get a little bit of damage on them. Switch is going for it, try and pressure Vega in the goal there. Almost. Core flip comes out, but is immediately intercepted by a brilliant Zentaro. Has the passive, but misses the core. Went a little bit too high there. Dribbles down to the bottom, almost gets it in, but Vega is not going to let that go in. And now it's Zentaro's turn to be shattered, but now again, right on top of the orb as well, back to full HP. No problems here for Dog just yet.
Yeah, they're holding it down quite well, but Cows is pushing up this top side. The Grand Finale coming out. There's the piercing shot. Doesn't quite land, though. So Envy will be managing to hold it now as Switch manages to get the core up into PLX's goal box, but it doesn't matter. Cows with the pass to Zay almost finds a shot. Envy with the strike shot will save it once here. But now the offense is going on, however, able to clear it out. Vega looking to try and send it back in here. Switch going to the top side, but it will get past Envy's triple take here and back into the midfield. Cows on the top side looking for the dribble against the bumper. Pass down to Zay here looking for a shot. Sloopin is right there, but Cows able to recover it and win that strike war. Sends it in. Will put PLX on the board here, but Dog still in the lead. Have a chance to take this first set and maybe get, snipe away a Dash Awakening, get it on their Zentaro, keep it away from Cows or Vaga. Could actually be really huge here, as well as like picking up Twin Drive or something, or of course Monumentalist on Sloopin. So, potentially a lot riding on this first draft. It's going to be potentially good if Dog can just manage to take an early set against PLX.
Great find there as well. Another KO onto Zay Forever. And this is only the first set, so this KOing is probably only going to get worse from here, depending on how the Awakenings go. And that's a great amount of pressure. The now arrow on the bottom, the secondary to send it in. Vaga trying their best in order to defend this goal, but there's only so much he can do when now has all of her abilities. Uses the primary to force a clear to the top because you can't clear it into that arrow. Use the second to send it after. And that is a Fanny who has access to an Orb Ponder or a team player. Even Reverb, Primetime, Heavy Impact. So many good options there on her. We're going to see what she picks up. Going to be the Orb Ponder, just one of the all-time best goalie awakenings. Just more cooldown for your abilities is great. Aimee picks up Primetime, great on her. Now has the option, going to go for Reverb, and a Heavy Impact falls to Estelle. Denies Zentaro as well as just being good on her in general. Zentaro picks up Stinger for the kill pressure, and Kazan gets Big Fish. A little bit of stagger, so he stays alive, and also a bit of size, which is just really good on Kazan.
Yeah, not too many surprises coming out in that draft. Kind of more or less what you would expect there. That Orb Ponderer is obviously a really big pickup, and Switch getting that Stinger as well. Dog was already getting some KOs, but now they'll have even more damage. That being said, it is Switch who eats the dirt first, unfortunately, and PLX are going to be able to get a barrier off of that now. Vaga teleported up and is looking to apply even more pressure as they're hunting for a second one, but Envy and Sloopin will be able to hold till Switch is back online. boys angle as well, unfortunately off of the respawn, is going to mean that Dog are going to have a little bit more work to do before they bring down one of these barriers here. Sloopin trying to push up, Glitch Pop coming out. Sloopin with a primary and little strike combo there. Will be able to get one of the bottom ones here, but they're looking for more. Dog bringing it into this bottom corner. There's the Firewall Sentry from Vaga. It's Zay versus Sloopin in this bottom side. Damage is coming out, but Vaga with the core flip will be able to clear that one off. Cows eating that black hole, though, is not looking particularly healthy as PLX try to recover some offense of their own and push it back into this top corner. Zay is not looking good right now, and Switch able to get a hold of the core. Will bring down a second barrier here. Unfortunate with core flip from Sloopin, though, as we go into overtime. Envy with the flip. He's going to stall it out, though. Pass it over to Sloopin. He's trying to get over to Switch here, playing around Cows because his health bar is so low that he can just kind of get knocked off the map at any time right now. And now Zay Forever looking for something, not being able to do too much, though. A little bit too far back here. Without Cows up in the midfield, it's going to be kind of difficult for PLX to do much as long as Dog keeps them staggered. They're able to have a little bit more free reign here in this midfield, but struggling a bit to line up these angles to try and get something. PLX is still holding on. If these rounds continue to go on for a pretty long time, but a big KO there onto Cows, or no, onto Zay Forever, my bad, is going to mean a big power play here for the side of Dog. Cows is still looking pretty hurt as well, and Corflip from Switch is going to see it sunk in. Sloopin finds the KO just to top it off, and that's Dog with an explosive first point set two.
Yeah, Envy with the artillery strike from downtown perfectly syncs up there, frees up that spot on the goal by just killing the person standing there. Great strike shot as well, so really seeing the prowess of this Fini goalie here. Not as great in those melees, although Envy has been doing really well in those up-close situations that Fini is not good at. But Fini even better at long range, especially with the Orb Ponderer cooldowns, keeping the ball at arm's length and able to just put so much damage out. But great offense from PLX here. Zay Forever almost getting a goal there and managing to win the strike war with that extra range that the size on Kazan gives him in that closed form. So just really good offense there, and Vaga also heading up to help with the offense there. Just playing basically 3 forward, very high risk, very high reward as well, as we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And that's how they're able to kind of overwhelm Envy on the Fini, is when you're trying to do it from, long range from like midfield, like they were kind of forced into on that last point with everyone being staggered. It's not going to work because Envy has time to use those ranged abilities, but when they're all able to stay healthy and push up hard and really apply the pressure, that's when, we're going to get like these double barriers like we have right now. But here comes another challenge of scoring on this open net, which Dog have been defending quite well all series so far. And a great sword angle from Envy against the Firewall Sentry. Keeps it held down, even in the face of it. Core flip here from Vaga. It's going to go wide, unfortunately, get blocked away as Cows once again on the receiving end of Switch's wrath. Dog gonna be able to pick up one barrier here. Switch Cows trying to get up in a position to use this core flip, but is going to get taken out by Sloopin's primary here as Dog continue to hold. And now with the power play, going to look to bring down this second barrier here. Vaga just trying to buy a bit of time by dribbling on this bottom bumper. Core flip now from Sloopin brings down that second barrier. And that's an open goal for the side of PLX. Cows trying to pass it over to Zay Forever. Triple Take going to come out and block that one away. Still a little more work to do. There's the grand finale from Envy, and the perfect angle to line it up in the bottom. That's going to be Dog getting another point. A Fini goal right there as another set point here for Dog. That's crazy.
Yeah, they're absolutely playing this so well. Now, the funny thing is both of these teams have fairly momentum-based comps, where if they have control, they're doing really well, but when the control is in the other side, the other team's hands, they're not doing as well. And so you're seeing a lot of swings really back and forth here. As one team has control, you can see that Zay Forever just able to push it through almost the entire team with the support of the Imania Estelle, and they score a goal right there off the back of it. But then you see the complete opposite, where Switch has the ball, and with the support from Now and Fini, he's able to push it all the way into the enemy side of the map. So it looks like it's really one-sided because they have momentum, but as long as one team is able to disturb that momentum, it instantly switches to the other side faster than you can blink just about.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a bit of a recurring trend from what we've been seeing. Every point that PLX has scored has been very quick, whereas every point that Dog has scored has been like an overtime, really long round. But now it's actually PLX who have the power play to work with here. They do manage to get one barrier off of it, but Switch is going to come back online to maybe shift some of that momentum back in the favor of Dog right now. Vaga teleporting up with the Cyber Swipes, though. Zay, there's a top spin, and be able to block that one away. And now Cows and Vaga both with flip up, trying to find a way to get it past the midfield and over to Zay. Grand Finale coming out from Envy to send it right back across, though, making things a little bit difficult here. Now Zay able to get a hold of the core. A little help from the Firewall Sentry. Sees that barrier go down, and that's Sloop and gone as well. Core flip here from Cows on the goal line is going to be enough. See PLX take a set now of their own, tie it up 1-1, and keep this thing close.
Yeah, and of course that first pick is huge for when you have a Now that has the option to get Monumentalist potentially. Doesn't come out this time, but there's still some great options here. We do have the Aimee picking before Zentaro, which means Explosive Entrance likely going to be denied from him. We have Kazan has the option of Quick Strikes here. Is just going to wait for a little, but does pick it up in the end. We have Fini, Hot Shot, denies Estelle, really good on goalies in general. Bulk Up going to Now just for more damage, denies Aimee from taking it, and also stacks with Reverb. Explosive Entrance, of course, going the way of Aimee, which means that Ad Rush goes to Zentaro if they can get kills, which with the Bulk Up is going to be a lot easier. But if they can get kills, that Ad Rush is going to be huge. But if not, it's almost, well, it still has a little bit of cooldown, but I don't think it's going to make the difference here, and I think PLX will run away with this game if Dog cannot get those kills.
Yeah, and they've been able to secure some, so with that bulk up pickup as well, I think they'll have a chance, and the Stagger Awakenings on Cows doesn't really matter because of Stinger. And I mean, we're seeing it right now. Zay and Cows both looking kind of unhealthy. Cows had to go back there to actually just get the orb to survive. Vaga did manage to get that second barrier, though, so it's still looking pretty good for the side of PLX as Dog in a tight situation, managing to actually hold it down for the moment. Nice clear there from Envy, get it over to Switch, the glitch prop coming out, but out Sloop. However, Cows able to win the strike. We'll get it up to Zay. Some ping pong going on between Envy and Zay, though, as the goal will not just go in. Grand Finale from Envy, trying to hold it down, gets it just past the Rose Thorns as well, as it will stay, but Cows passes Zay, but a little bit too high on the angle. Gonna have another chance here. Envy blocks it with the primary, though, and it's still going now. But Dog have to get it off their side of the field to keep it safe here. Zay once again trying to send it in. Cyber Strike from Vaga. Now core flip from Switch to try and block it with a Firewall Sentry. It's going to send it right back in. However, Cows still not able to grab a hold of it with any of the projectiles. Envy making some nice clears, however, on that one, be able to find it. That 1-2 punch speed coming in big there to red court past Envy. We'll see PLX go first on the board in set 3.
Yeah, also with that overtime switch, you just always get, it's almost impossible to really predict how much speed that core is going to get going into overtime, so it's a great moment to trip up enemy goalies. And so, yeah, Envy getting completely caught off guard by that. Even getting the orb stolen, which is huge against the orb ponder, so there aren't not as many cooldowns available to Envy off of that. But a Dull Barrier goes down to Switch, who's able to find that really nice angle there while Vegas covering the bottom. Great core from Kaz, going to send it to the other side of the map, but it's still not in anyone's control too much right now. They're trying to fight for it. Slep does have the core flip available, but is not going to opt to use it just yet. Is probably going to be forced to use it to dodge, and is going to use it to have to dodge. It's on there, but does kill the Kazan, and that is an ad rush reset. I believe Zentaro did get a little bit of help there. Core flip up to past the Zentaro, down to the bottom, into the black hole, but not into the goal. Until now with Zay, Envy hits an absolutely amazing Fini secondary there. The triple take, able to send it into the goal at the end.
Yeah, Envy is pretty good at this Fini character, as we've been seeing here. Highest level in the lobby right now as well. This guy has been really holding it down and applying a lot of pressure on offense as well when needed with just really good ability placements. Fini is one of the harder goalies to play well, but if you can play her well, she's a very strong character. She's kind of a sleeper pick. Not a lot of people play her because they can't, but if you can, like we're seeing right now, the character does quite a lot. Highest move speed in the game, I believe, as well, after the recent buffs. So, being said, Dog is in a little bit of a predicament right now with both barriers being gone. Envy with a nice strike shot, though, will hold it here. And a card into the now primary. Sees both barriers fall from the side of PLX. A perfect setup from the side of Dog. But now they got to seal the deal and get this point here. Zay is controlling the core, though, in this top side. There's the pop-up into strike right in between Sloop and Envy, threading the needle. Envy strike shotted down, thinking it was going to go that way, but Zay saw a tiny gap in the defense and took it. And then I will put PLX on set points.
Yeah, really good find there. Double Sad Boys angle there, back and forth. Means that only one barrier is going to go down there, tragically for PLX, but amazing for Dog. Zay just trying to maintain presence in front of this goal. Slop now really just trying to keep up with this Kazan that's going back and forth. Sometimes better just stay in that one place and have the goalie clear, and they're kind of getting tripped up now later as the points go on. That's going to be Cows almost dying to Zentaro, but managed to find a nice angle there, and that's going to be a core flip from Raga down into the goal, and that is a dominant set 2 over to PLX.
Yeah, PLX starting to warm up now, looking more like we kind of expected them to in those beginning sets. But Dog are making it definitely a challenge to be sure. We do have some pretty nice awakenings here. Likely a twin drive pickup, or actually a rapid fire pickup going over to Vaga, who does already have primetime. So primetime rapid fire IME is quite powerful. Glitch Pop is a really good primary move here. Deadeye will go over to Envy for a little bit more of that damage that Dog have been pumping out, but Rampage here on Zay Forever is kind of scary. He already has big fish, and that's just even more size on the Kazan. Unstoppable pickup there from Sloopin. Aerials on Cows, which is just a really good Estelle Awakening. It does everything you want it to, and then Switch just opting for the Mighty Colossus, a little bit more size and power, but overall, big draft there for PLX. Everyone on that team got an Awakening that they wanted, and they're just going to be looking really strong coming into this set 4.
But interestingly enough, not picking up that Unstoppable is going to mean that they're a little bit weaker against this Might of the Colossus from Zentaro, who has now even more power. As long as they can capitalize on it, though. And that is a beautiful double barrier going down. No thing remaining in front of the goal here besides the goalie. But that goalie seems to be enough for now for PLX. Going across the field, and again, the momentum is just swinging back and forth here. They're trying to maintain control of it, but it's so difficult against both these teams. Great red core, but a better Rose Warp from Kaz is going to send it in. Back to Zentaro, who can't send it into the goal. Strike shot from Envy is really good to buy more time, but they don't need to just buy time. They also need to score. And Zay Forever has the core, going to use it, and it's not going to hit the barrier. It was a good try, but there's just too much in the way there. Now it was great into the corner, but not enough. Again, Switch has the score flip, looking to use it right here in front of the goal. Is going to send it up to the top corner, where I just cannot get to it, even with the bonus glitch pops from IMU with the primetime rapid fire combo.
Yeah, Dog now first on the board this set here. It's just been back and forth this entire time, but Vega will have a core flip here to work with as well, and you know, we can see him get up there and use stuff offensively right now. Switch taking a lot of damage, but good healing there from Sloop, and will mean that Switch will be able to recover. Cows is the one now taking a lot, but Vega with the core flip gets one barrier, Firewall Sentry gets 2, and now it's Zay Forever who's looking for this point. Cows pushing up here. Zay with the dribble. Strike War win against Envy. That'll be good to find it, tying it up now 1-1 in this set as PLX continue to try to close this game out right now. It's got to work a little bit more here. Gonna be able to find if they can get those quick barriers and apply some quick pressure. That seems to be like consistently what's been getting them these points, is just doing it really fast and not allowing Dog any time to apply their damage onto them. Dog seems to win the war of attrition over PLX here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the ways that a KO comp can go if you don't have something like a Julie that just does the knockback KO right off the bat. But good now usage of the abilities here to get it towards the goal, but it's not enough. You really have to have a concerted effort from both of your forwards to get it through either of these goalies. That's a kill onto Zay. Once again, we're bringing it back, and that's going to be an ad rush reset onto Zentaro. So this is the chance for things to go back. Pass up to Zentaro, back down to now is intercepted by Cows. Down to the bottom, though, Glitch Pop misses, but it hit the corner and didn't end the end go in the goal. Fnee ult is not going to be able to secure because it gets hit out. Cows very low on the top here, courting death, but is able to survive for so long here. They just don't have the last little hit to kill the Estelle. Envy has the core flip, is going to use to save that top barrier really nicely with the card as well to send it backwards. And now it's in front of the goal again. Zay has the Switch has the passive, sorry. And it's just, again, not enough at any of these. We are deep into overtime. Sad Boy's angle around the barrier means that Dog still has this one barrier advantage so deep into this point, and looking like potentially might go their way with the Zentaro primary into the goal with a red core deep in overtime, bringing them up 2-1 and 1 point away from tying up the sets.
Yeah, if Dog can branch to bring this to a set 5, it would be already kind of more than we initially expected here, but energy is slightly in the favor of PLX moving into this. However, Envy with some great strike wars, this can keep both barriers online after kickoff and force out Vaga's core flip here as well. It will pick up one barrier for the side of PLX, though. It's now Envy in a little bit of a tight spot. Switch and Sloopin, though, also on the defense here. Managed to pick up a KO onto Cows in the process. Now Sloopin down to the now primary. He's going to set Switch up to find one barrier here. Now Zay and Vaga up to try and stall out this power play. It doesn't matter, though, because Switch is going to be able to find that second barrier. Cows is back online now, but with an open goal and on set point, this could be Dog's chance to turn everything around right now. Sloopin working his way up the field here. Cows versus Envy in this top side. Not going to go too far, but Zay passing it back in. Corflip from Sloopin gets the KO. Perfect pass to Switch. Just shoot it right into the bottom side, and that's Dog bringing it to a set 5. I mean, they got that dog in them.
Yeah, 2 kill flips in 1 round, really good. And that's going to be Estelle having to deny Monumentalist here instead of getting something like Catalyst or Perfect Form, which is crazy. Zentaro also potentially getting Perfect Form right off the bat. Has other options as well. Orb Dancer, amazing. Prize Fighter, amazing. But it's going to be Perfect Form in the end because it's just really good on him with all the extra hits. Actually, now managing to get Monumentalist because Estelle picks up the Reptile Remedy to try and survive. I don't think that's the play because you're not going to get that much out of the Reptile Remedy when you're dead from this Monumentalist now that also has Bulk Up Reverb 1-2 Punch. At least Aimee gets the Orb Dancer so she can run up more on the field, and same thing for Zay Forever with those stacks, but stacks and Rampage and Orb Dancer fall away if you die, so I'm really worried for PLX going into this final point. And again, this was their map. This was PLX's map. This was their choice to play on this map, so if they lose it, that's a huge blow in this series. But Double Barrier goes down! Envy not quite on top of things this time. Zay Forever is on top of them. A piercing shot through the now, through the Kazan on the team, and through the core into the goal. Just a really nice angle there from Cows.
Yeah, this is a really good draft from Dog. I agree. They got pretty much BIS everywhere that they wanted it. Obviously, they did lose that first point, though, so it's going to be kind of up to them now to bring it back. No more relying on Awakenings, as that was the last draft in the game here. And Switch is not looking too healthy. The healing comes out, but it's not quite enough to unstagger him, and it will be Vaga using the core flip to find the KOs. The power play starting, both barriers fall, and Vaga with the cyber swipes, just able to sink it right in for a quick set point now. Well, not just set point, match point for game 1 for PLX, and a very comfy 2-0 as well. Dog in a massive predicament right now, so they're going to have to find a way to bring this one back, reverse sweep the set to kind of save this game here. Some great defense from Envy, but the first barrier will go down. It's now Cows and Vaga looking to continue to set this up. Zay taking a lot of damage, though. Core flip from Sloopin, not able to get too much. The strike shot, though, will be able to secure that one as a massive lag spike comes my way. But the KO there on Zay Forever does mean it's a power play now for Dog. Second barrier is down. Sloopin looking for a pass or a shot here. Vaga switch. And now a core flip here from Cows to send it wide and buy a bit of time. They're waiting for Zay to come back online, but he's just not responding yet. It's just too much. Switch able to find the shot with the primary to put Dog on the board.
Yeah, great endurance there by PLX, but in the end, Dog is able to levy that 1 barrier lead for so long. And Zentaro managing to live here, because that was the problem in those first 2 points in this set, is they focused on Zentaro instead of just letting him kill, and that lets them get so much more pressure. Estelle can finally play up and help Zay to get these barriers, and the double barrier goes down. That's 10 seconds of the set, and it's a goal, and that's a match. Zay Forever finding the goal there in kind of a 1v1 against Envy, while the other members of the team are just brawling with each other. So great pickup there at the end.
Yeah, PLX bringing it back in that set 5. Dog putting up a very good performance and making that one a lot harder than I think PLX may have anticipated it being. But a really great performance there from Envy on the defense regardless. 227 redirects. That's the most in the lobby on the Finny goalie. 95 saves as well. Putting up some absolute numbers right there. But unfortunately, PLX just a bit too good, a bit too coordinated, especially on that last set. They were able to get some pretty quick points when they were able to score. Some explosive plays and some good teamwork were enough to get it past the defenses of Sloopin and Envy at the end of the day. So that is game 1 going over to PLX. Game 2 going to be on Oni Village, so a little bit of a different experience. But, I mean, if Dog can do this good in, you know, a pretty tough situation like that, there is certainly hope that they can bring this to a game 3, which, I mean, like we were talking about at the beginning, may not have been our initial thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, going into this, PLX was the clear favorite, so Dog to take them to a set 5 was pretty unexpected, but pretty nice to see out of them. One other thing to note is that I think the reason they lost in this is because they didn't have the good kickoff. So when you're faced against the Estelle and against the IME in this very momentum-based comp, pretty consistently, PLX was able to get control of the core at the beginning of the set. There were a few times where Dog did fight back at the beginning, but usually it was PLX from the beginning controlling the point, able to get the core and able to keep on going. But because they got the kickoff and Dog was not able to attrition them down most of the time, they just had so much momentum every single point that unless it went to that battle of attrition, Dog was not able to win.
Yeah, pretty much. I totally agree with that. Every point that was happening was, that PLX was winning was pretty instantaneous. They were getting the barriers really fast, and like you were saying, on kickoff, regardless of the point. But when they did manage to score, they scored almost immediately after getting both barriers. But going over to Oni Village, I'm curious if that's going to continue to be a trend or not. Oni's a little bit of a different map. The core moves pretty fast. You only have time for maybe 1 or 2 interactions before it's just going to get away from you. And double barriers into a goal are certainly doable, but teams are far more likely to give up one of the barriers, top or bottom, depending on their preference, and the goal just have the goalie protect one of them rather than try and run back and forth trying to save them. And we're going to see that Deadeye heavy impact start here as well, which is kind of interesting because this is not really a damage map all that much, but Luna and Vice could both be good pickups regardless, just to have that extra ability. Aimee as well in that goalie spot, who all work very well with those awakenings. We could see the Zentaro come out once again, or even the now, because heavy impacts is good on now. So another thing also I'll point out is that Estelle is absolutely disgusting on this map, and Cows was playing a pretty killer Estelle there, and with a heavy impact start, that could be something to consider banning if you're Dog, but we'll just have to see what that ends up being.
Yeah. Also, one of the things is Dog is the first pick, so they do get the priority on the things like the Estelle and the Juno and these really good characters. So PLX might have to opt to ban them instead. But we're seeing a Kazan pick, or Kazan ban coming out immediately here. Really good with heavy impact, just really good control character, and can do a lot of tripping up and mixing up with the hook against these sort of corner barriers. So that's going to be an interesting, or not interesting. That was a really good one. It would have been interesting to see, but Dog did not want to have to deal with that. Vice Band coming out really good with Deadeye. Heavy impact as well, not too bad. So usually not a KO map, but I think Vice is one of those characters that can really make Oni Village into a kill comp map if you have a good goalie or a good midfielder on it. But a Kai pickup coming out, really good goalie, really good midfielder, really good scorer. He can fill any role on this map to an absolute perfection. But that does mean that Estelle and Rasmus, two of the best Oni characters for that midfield forward position, midfield and scorer position, coming out there. And the Zentaro Asher, also really nice to see. Probably an Asher goalie, but Envy did play the Finis, so it could also be that Kai goalie with like a double brawler forward. So interesting to see how that comp from Dog plays out here.
Yeah, that Rasmus Estelle is kind of scary from PLX. Rasmus is kind of one of the best forwards for Oni Village, and Estelle, like we were saying, is just really, really good on open maps in general, and especially this one. There's a lot of nasty setups you can get with the character. So I'll have to see. If that is an Asher goalie, it's probably going to be better for dealing with the stuff, just because the primary is a very good tool for just shutting stuff down, as well as the ultimate. So hopefully that is the case. I think the Kai goalie might have a little bit more difficult time dealing with the ranged abilities from Estelle. But we are going to see the Atlas now come out from the side of PLX. Really good turtle up goalie. Just press a button. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't get very many interactions on this map, so having a button that just will shut down everything and send the core away is incredibly useful to have, since you don't necessarily need to have a long, drawn-out fight over stuff. You can just kind of let the map speed take over at that point. So, once again, a pretty scary comp coming out from PLX, but Dog made it look good in their last game, and it is, in fact, the Asher goalie here, so we'll have to see if they're able to bring this one back and take us to a Game 3 or not as we jump into it.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see. Also, another thing is with that heavy impact start, really good on Rasmus, Estelle, and Zentaro. Estelle might opt for the Deadeye to go for some weird KOs, but it's usually going to be the heavy impact, and we can see that everybody but Kai picks up heavy impact. Kai going the way of Deadeye, just to look to use some of those Giga Blasts. Not even necessarily for the kills. It's really good to get those really quick red cores out, just to trip people up. Bit of a weird kickoff there. Control is lost for a split second, but Kai is actually able to get that. He's low on health, but he's not low on tech, able to get that barrier, but does lose one in exchange. Envy's playing super far up to allow the Kai to play back a little bit, and the core is just bouncing right back and forth. You said it earlier, it's just so fast on this map. There's only so much you can do and so much you can clear, but great passes through the middle, but intercepted by Cows on that attempt to get the bottom barrier there. And now, once again, Switch looking very low, and this time does have the slick kicks, not the siphoning wand. So is going to be permanently low on HP, and this time as well, no now to heal him. The healing's on the other side of the map, in fact, and that's going to be a kill. Zay forever finding a hook onto Zentaro.
Yeah, these early sets might be a little bit rough, as PLX do have a little bit of damage to work with. Estelle pumps out a pretty significant amount of damage with the heavy impact start as well. It might be a little bit rough just these first rounds before the level scaling stagger starts coming online here. Core flip there from Zay forever. We'll see the point go over to PLX with a little bit of help from that power play as well. That it puts Switch actually kind of significantly behind in the XP, so they can sort of play around not having to deal with the Zentaro ult immediately right now. But I think what really went wrong there for Dog is that Envy was, hovering that bottom barrier like most goalies do, but the core got above him a little bit early, and the barrier fell pretty quick, which is not ideal. You want to usually, most of the time, you give up the top barrier first and then hold the bottom one like as hard as possible because it's like a little bit easier to see the core, but it doesn't really matter that much. But that was his preferred one, and losing that was a bit rough on the defense here. However, it is now both sides opened up. Core flip from Cows, and Zay forever with the strike ward followed up. We'll see PLX bring it to set point pretty quickly here as they take the lead.
Yeah, if they do manage to take this set, which is 1 point away, it'll be kind of funny where each team on the other team's map gets that first set. So a little bit funny there, and of course that first set win is big for those advantages. And that's a double barrier, great find by Cows, and a little bit unfortunate positioning from Sloppin and Envy. Core flip out of Rasmus is pretty good, but strike ward away by Kai, who is now low on health, and a great switch up by Cows, just goes behind Kai there. Amazing angle to find there, and just a good point in general. That's a 19-second point there to get both barriers and a goal. I don't even think the core was on the other side of the field during that point.
Yeah, PLX were able to control that pretty well. I mean, Rasmus and Estelle, like we were saying earlier, just have a lot of agency on this map, with a lot of kind of cross-map coverage between the two of them. And a Chrono Boost pickup there on Zay forever is pretty big, but it does mean Catalyst is falling pretty far down. Chrono denies it away from Kai, but Kai is just going to pick up the aerials instead. And Catalyst actually made it all the way to the bottom of the board to the Zentaro to switch, which is absolutely crazy to see that happen. Envy went for the glass cannon, and Cows decided to go for Primetime, and then which led Vaga to pick up Perfect Form to deny it away from Switch. But because Zay picked Chrono instead of Catalyst, Switch ended up getting Catalyst. So what was almost a really insane draft for PLX actually had some pretty decent benefits for Dog, because I mean, look at Switch's energy bar. Like, he's so far ahead already, without Dog even really interacting with the core that much. And he's gonna have core flip up pretty soon. He already got it. He's gonna burn it right here to get the barrier. It's absolutely huge.
Yeah, another huge thing about this is that even though he just used core flip, he's able to dodge there, so they're going to have to start focusing on this Kai instead of the Zentaro in order to actually get those kills. Now, they're going to actually manage to find one with a great primary from Zay, and just a lot of damage before that point, so good to find there, but that's going to be a lot fewer and farther between than it was previously. And just a good aggressiveness from Sloppin in this power play to just keep the core in that midfield and away from the goal, where it can be really awkward. Piercing shot's a little bit awkward on that angle, goes to the bottom corner, but a core flip is going to be really great, sending the top corner there right past Envy, who's just a pixel too far down to catch it.
Yeah, even with that glass cannon and momentum boots, the core still moves quite fast, especially in this overtime as well. And an unfortunate double barrier here. Cows able to find the good bounce on Oni is going to leave Dog a bit vulnerable here, as looks like Sloopin and Switch struggling to find a good angle there, and Stay Forever with a shot to the top forces out Envy's core flip here, but blocked away by Vaga, just to send it right back in now, playing up in the midfield to keep the offense going here for the side of PLX, but that's Cows going down. Now the power play is here for Dog. Core flip here from Vaga, sends it to the top to buy a bit of time here, and looks for the KO actually onto Switch. Doesn't find it, but gets the core flip out of him, which is just as valuable. Now Envy is pushed way up, playing a lot more forward than the last game, kind of letting Sloopin take over some of the goalie responsibilities when he's got cooldown up, but a piercing shot from Cows will be enough to get it through the Asher and put PLX on another 2-0 set point.
Yeah, even though they did fumble the Catalyst there, you still have a Chrono Boost on Erasmus and a Prime Time on an Estelle, which are really good. So they're able to still have so much forward pressure that even, Zentaro does have Catalyst, and if it gets to him, he has core flip most of the time, but it has to get to him first, and it's so difficult, especially when Vaga and Cows are just really putting a lot of distance around the Zentaro, able to just pass it around him and buy time. One barrier goes down, but that doesn't matter as much, because Vaga is still protecting the barrier that he wants to. Of course, on his side of the screen, that's the bottom barrier there. And so he's very comfortable to hold that one ad infinitum as long as he wants to. And then Sloopin, of course, has to hang back against this, so they really only have a one forward versus one Atlas every now and then, and it's just far enough that, or just long enough between those, that Atlas almost always has secondary. Great pass from the core flip, Zeta Cows, but not enough. And these two barriers are going to be held for a little bit while both the goalies finding their stride here. And now, again, Switch has this core flip, but dies with it. Doesn't even have the option to dodge with a really great just blind side from that primary of Zay Forever.
Yeah, and Envy does have the Glass Cannon Mon Boot speed up now. He hasn't gotten hit like he was getting last match. He's been managing to avoid the abilities, which means that he's moving really fast, and picking up the Oni speed boost as well. This is a fast goalie who's able to reposition quite well. And without those abilities coming in hitting him, it's pretty nice. But there's a big KO there as Vaga getting taken down. The power play is here, the goalie power play. Zay trying to hold on to this core as long as possible. Cows becoming the new defense here. They are managing to hold it down. Vaga is back online, utilizing that core speed to just clear it away from the forwards of Dog and just buy as much time as possible for Vaga to come back up here. Now they're looking for the barrier. Envy with the core flip catches it, though. Just tries to send it out of there, but still a little bit of tough here in this midfield in overtime. Great elusive from Switch to stay alive and is actually able to find the shot into the center as well. A great setup from Dog. We'll see them put a point up on the board, but they still got to reverse sweep this set. It's looking kind of tough. And as long as Envy can keep that speed up, though, and not really get hit, I mean, we get stuff like that where he literally just runs up and takes a barrier.
Yeah, you can also see that with that speed, Envy's tempted to protect that top barrier, but, actually went a little bit too far, and that's the curse of speed, is that speed really punishes your positioning. If you ever are mispositioned, then it's so difficult to misposition, I should say. And just like that, Envy walked a little bit too far away and just couldn't get back in time even with the speed. And normally you wouldn't be that far away, so you'd use an ability, you'd be close enough to strike, and just a little unfortunate there. But Zay Forever looking very low with the Giga with the barrage being used, but Cows is right in front of the goal with that strike available, not able to get it through in the end. Core from Vega is not enough, and Sloopin is going to pass it down, and Switch gets the core into that goal, and that's almost a set. That is set point. It's 5th point in this set coming up here. Really close between Dog and PLX.
Dog has achieved the underdog buff and are beginning to bring it back, tying it up now, but energy's coming online for everyone here, but a big double barrier from Dog. Gonna have PLX's goal open, Vaga with a great strike board here, but Envy is pushing up now, looking to secure this thing maybe. Favorable bounce as well. We'll see the barrier stay up for now. Cows with another shot. Envy able to hold it down here, getting it over to Switch, but Vaga trying to clear it away from these core flips. Core flip here, burnt from Sloopin, pass up. Core flip from Switch, but it's blocked away. Now Envy walking up with a pass splitter. Doesn't get the goal, but gets Zay's core flip, which is also pretty nice here. Switch not looking too healthy. Almost gets KO'd there. They're still able to hold on for a bit now. Sloopin is looking to now dribble it in this midfield, try and set something up, try and find the pass here, but Cows and Zay hovering him, looking for the intercept, gets the pass off to Switch and earns Cows' core flip as well. No point is scored. They will lose one barrier here, though. Death touch coming out. Switch able to hold on to the core, gets down to Sloopin, and a shot right to Vaga. Went for the elusive, thought there was going to be a Giga Blast after that, but there wasn't. And it will be Dog who will be able to take a set now of their own and tie it up once again. Sloopin, the MVP, and stacks on stacks is on the board. That could be a pretty big reward here for Dog.
Yeah, absolutely a phenomenal reverse sweep there. Coming out Stacks on Stacks is going to be the pickup there from Kai. Estelle going to pick up the explosive entrance. Denies Zentaro. Also generally good on her. She does have an impact on that primary. Which means Zentaro picks up Rampage as well, denies Rasmus. And again, he has 3 melee abilities. He's really good with size. Rasmus has extra special for more hooks, more kills. Monumentalist on Atlas is pretty darn good with that secondary. And the Unstoppable going to Asher is probably one of the goalie's best awakenings, specifically when you're into either Estelle or Rasmus. And here there's both of them, so really almost in a way unfortunate that that fell down to Asher. Would have been a great deny, but they also picked up some really great things in its place, so not too bad a draft for either team in the end.
Yeah, I think this is especially good, though, for Dog. Like, the Manu on Vaga is good, and the Blink on Cows is, of course, really nice, but you're getting Rampage on the double barrier map on your forward. You have the Unstoppable on your goalie against Rasmus and Estelle, and you got Stacks on Kai, who already runs really fast, and it's just, like, such a good awakening on this map. And Zay kind of got left with extra special, which doesn't really do much for Rasmus, because it's not a very long cooldown on the hook anyway. And you don't really use it on kickoff, at least on this map, very often. So I'm really liking what Dog actually came out of with that draft. And I mean, so far seeming to pay off is right there. Actually, it did the Unstoppable 8 of the pendulum swing. It unfortunately got through Envy anyway. But that's the kind of stuff that, like, we may end up seeing them pull out here. And now with the core flip up on Sloopin, burning it here, actually looking for a pass, actually stalls it out as Switch was getting knocked around too much to comfortably receive that. But Zay Forever gets it around Envy, who was pushed up just a little bit too far, and the point's actually going to go over to PLX.
Yeah, just a really great focus of PLX onto Zentaro there to make him retreat so that they can't keep up that pressure, and instantly switching it across. And when you have that Estelle in the midfield and you have that Rasmus in the scorer, it's really easy to keep the core on the other side of the field. Again, that momentum-based play, and you can see they have control of it, but really great barrage and strike warning from Switch. Just gonna be in that, it's back in the top corner 2 seconds after I say that, and the teams just cannot seem to clear past one another. That's another barrier taken. That's every barrier on the map taken now, not even 30 seconds into this. That's Corflip out of Envy right over to Switch, who has Corflip himself, is going to use it there in front of the strike shot, but a great Cosmic Expanse from Bugga's gonna send that in. Great Giga, though! Finds the goal through Cows after the strike there. Great find by Sloopin on that. Just straight in off the Giga.
Excellent shot indeed, and as those stacks and stacks begin to max out for Sloopin, it's just going to be even more speed on this already fast Aerials Kai as well. Switch, however, is kind of staggered off of kickoff, it looks like, unfortunately, but will manage to recover fairly quickly there as the barriers do begin to get traded right now. Zay with the Whiplash up, looking for more here. Envy holding it down, though, getting it up to this top side where Switch can hopefully kind of get it out here. Is now Sloopin kind of taking control. Pass splitter coming out on the bottom side as well to keep it up here for Dog. Cows with the blink in the midfield almost picks off the barrier, but Envy with enough speed was able to get back there in time and save that now. Zay with the core flip tries to send it in. Not going to be enough, though, as now Cow's going to take over in this top side. Sloopin able to win it out. Vaga passed it down. Not quite able to grab a hold of it, as now Switch is the one looking for the barrier. Fortunately, not able to quite catch it with the Zentaro passive. It's not going to quite be enough as we continue into Oni Village gameplay of the core just kind of going back and forth a lot.
Yeah, and one of the other things to note here is that when that core's on this side of the map, Envy is staying on this bottom side in that speed gate. I'd love to see a Stray piercing shot or an Estelle pendulum swing, the primary, knock her off the map, because she is standing very close to that. If you can pop the Unstoppable, it's a really easy kill there. But they actually find the barrier, which is really great, and now it's back on the other side of the field, but Vaga has that perfect form, which actually does mean that the secondary comes off cooldown a lot faster. The hook misses the elusive Zentaro there, does hit in the end, and now Switch is very low once again. Corflip is going to be wasted by the Atlas there, and now it goes underneath Sloopin there. Unfortunate there, pass up to the Zentaro, but another secondary out of Atlas. He just has an infinite number of these. Just really good pick up on that perfect form. Ironically, I wasn't expecting it, but it's really paying dividends now. But a great strike war from Sloopin into the core, potentially into the goal here. Is going to stall it out for too long. Cavs wins the strike war, though, meaning that it's now 0 barriers to 0 barriers. And we're once again going back and forth and back and forth. Envy has the core flip. We're also in overtime, so there's going to be a lot of red cores coming out. Unfortunate. Switch misses the secondary timing there, but it's in front of the goal there. The ult from Switch is not going to pass, not good enough, but the primary is in. It's a kill as well. Really good find by Switch there. Saw the Atlas was too far back, used the primary to get the kill, and also send the core in there. Wonderfully done.
Yeah, and that's going to put Dog now on set point, which is pretty big for them, and Envy still has a core flip up, managed to preserve it all through that round. They will lose a quick barrier here, but that's just the rental barrier. However, that is not the rental barrier. That's the real barrier. Cow is able to pick that one off. It's going to mean it's an open goal versus 2 barriers here for the side of Dog. Core flip has to come out there from Envy to get it away, but Vaga sends it right back in. Piercing shot is blocked away. Envy will keep it safe for now, but Cows and Zay now bringing out the passing plays. Core flip from Zay sends it to the top side, and it's good. As now PLX will be able to tie it up on set point. 1 set to 1 set, keeping this game just absolutely neck and neck.
And again, I think a lot more neck and neck than we were initially expecting. And that's also great interaction there from Envy to win that war and get the barrier in the end because of it. We're going to have a switch using that core flip. But again, these secondaries out of Atlas are really good for that. I'd love to see the Zentaro wait a little bit longer on some of those to maybe bait out some of the Atlas abilities. Although with Manu, it's a lot harder to do that.
Yeah, and now with this kind of top barrier setup, there's going to be a lot of play either around the speed lane or around the open space. And in the speed lane right there is where we actually saw Zay Forever get taken off the map with a little bit too much going on right there. Barrier going down, a nice setup from Sloopin and switching some good positioning. We'll see the goal be open now as Sloopin dribbling up with the barrage, able to get it through the Astral Projection, and Vaga. It's going to be able to take the set here for Dog. It's absolutely massive, and seven rampage stacks on switch that set is kind of crazy as we begin to get in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely amazing set. I was really fearing for Switch because if he lost those stacks when he was really low so many times, it would have potentially been over. That's going to be Big Fish going the way of Rasmus, more sides on him. A great Might of the Colossus potentially being given over to Zentaro through that. Is going to pick it up. Orb Dancer goes to Atlas for more speed to try and match the Asher who has those stacks. Peak performance on Kai, just consistent speed is really good. Team player going to Asher is amazing on Oni Village just because it's a big open map. You can pass to your midfielder and clear it so much more. And then in the end, you have that Twin Drive going over to the Estelle, which is not a bad pickup, but is also not one of her stellar ones either. So a little unfortunate that she doesn't get something that's BIS on her, but it's like a solid A tier, B tier item.
I'm a little bit surprised that Sloopin didn't go for the missile prop. I went for the peak performance instead, but I mean, peak is good. It's more speed, and what that seems to be what Sloopin is playing around right now. Unfortunately, with Switch gone, it's going to be a little bit tough here to save the power play. However, Envy holds it down. Asher is a pretty good melee goalie, and that barrier beam just put in a lot of work right there against the primaries from Cows and Zay, as that final barrier will continue to stay up for Dog right now. Sloopin and Switch look to bring down some barriers of their own. Sloopin able to find one off the barrage here. Zay holding it down in this bottom corner right now, preventing that second one from getting a good setup here. As now Switch is once again looking really, really hurt here, and only has 1 rampage stack though, so it wouldn't be a huge loss as he's been getting KO'd, but core flip there from Zay does mean the offense is really kicking off here for the side of PLX. Core flip from Cow. See the second barrier fall down now. Death touch coming out from Zay to get control of the core once again, dribbling up the field, has the whiplash, but core moving a little bit too fast in overtime, and there's Switch going down once again. That time to the Astral Projection. It's just Sloopin and Envy trying to hold it down here for Dogs, and Vaga past to Cows. Core flip from Envy, tries to go for the sword angle, but just doesn't quite hit it right. The Asher dash unfortunately hit like right after he popped the core flip, and so it just launched it down and back into the goal. So a bit unfortunate there.
Was a really unfortunate instant flip there, and it's so easy to mess that up on Asher. It actually is a very lenient timing on that instant flip, which is sometimes really bad, like in there where you don't want to flip it, you want to core flip and then strike it. But a little unfortunate. But we do have them holding the 2 barricades for a little while. But it's now back to these classic opposite corner Oni barriers. Great secondary there from Vega to actually stop that barrier from going down in just the nick of time. Back pass from Zay and an attempted hook onto Switch, both of which aren't going to do too much, but Switch is looking very low there and is going to get killed by a Crystal Thorn's piercing shot combo. Now, Estelle, not usually the KO champ, but when they're that low, she's actually not too bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, Estelle does a fair bit of damage and has a fair bit of knockback. She's kind of a sleeper damage character, and a lot of people have kind of been using her like that. Like the famous kind of Quangle and stuff. And with how much damage Switch has been taking this match, I'm not surprised that Cows is kind of able to find these. And keeping that size off of Switch with the Rampage stacks is pretty big. Just keeping him at 0 for as long as possible here. Core flip, though, from Cows does see that second barrier fall on the side of Dog. Zay and Envy going at it here, but Zay able to get the upper hand and find the shot just above Envy's head. And it will be PLX bringing it to now a set point of their own as they're looking to bring it. This time, they're going to be the ones who are going to bring it to a set 5, most likely.
Yeah, unless Dog can reverse sweep it twice in a row. But losing that actually bottom barrier there is Envy right at the beginning, not the best, because that's the barrier that a goalie is really comfortable on this map. Pretty much every goalie loves to defend that bottom barrier. It's what they're used to, so being forced to do the top barrier is a little bit unorthodox and can be a little bit of a switch up for them if they're not expecting. So, and there we go. Their barrier is going down a lot harder to hold it on that second thing. Switch tried to hold out the core flip and get the Atlas to use some abilities, which I do love seeing, but in the end held it for a little bit too long and didn't get the speed, so was just cleared out. But that's a great angle find by Sloopin, able to get it into that barrier, just the very tippy top corner of that, and Envy holding on to this core flip, making the Estelle bait the Crystal Thorns out, and just really good play. The core flip intercepted by the Asher ult there, and that is going to be the core once again going over to the other side of the map. And now it's back on the Dog side of the map. And now it's Zay dribbling up on the top. And now it's Cows passing down to Zay. And it's Switch in just a couple seconds. Great core flip there is used to pass up to Zentaro, but the corner angle is not perfect. And that's going to mean that Cows finds it with a piercing shot through Sloopin to bring us to a set 5.
PLX now the ones who are looking to bring it to a set 5. But this is for the series here being up a game right now. And seeing some Stellar Awakening show up, Rapid Fire, Quick Strikes, and Hot Shot all initially catching my eye here. Or Ponder's there as well. It's going to be the Rapid Fire pickup, though, for Cows, who already has Prime Time. Prime Time, Heavy Impact, Rapid Fire, Twin Drive Estelle. This guy's got some cooldowns to work with. Quick Strikes going over to Envy. Pretty good on the goalie here. Hot Shot pickup by Zay Forever. Stagger over onto Sloopin to scale with that peak. Orb Ponder on Vaga. Double Orb build plus Heavy, or plus... what's it called? Perfect Form. Means a lot of cooldowns on this Atlas, who's already got Monumentalist as well, and Switch just having to pick up that ad rush despite not really getting too many KOs here. So a really kind of insane draft here for PLX once again going into set 5. And they bring down both barriers here fairly quickly as well. Vaga might be an iron wall at this point with that double orb Monu Perfect Form setup. It's going to be very difficult, I think, for Dog to find the resources to get it past them, unless I just curse him enough with my amazing caster powers, then they are able to bring down the barrier there and even it up. However, Zay Forever able to catch Envy without the Unstoppable. The Pendulum Swing will be enough there to put PLX on the board first.
And also in that, don't forget that Heavy Impact also gives cooldown. I mean, it doesn't give him any buff with the impact abilities, because Atlas does not have impact abilities, but he can actually still proc it with his primary, can still proc it with his secondary. So actually not too bad when you factor in all of the cooldown that he has. So yeah, definitely a tough one to get through there. A great hook onto Sloopin actually instead of the core. Probably meant to hit the core, but did actually pull Kai out and buy a little bit more time. Switch goes to the top side of the map, does stall it with his Zentaro primary excellently, and does mean that he gets the second barrier there, which is huge in this case. Core flip out of Vega is just going to pass it to Sloopin, who opts not to use the core flip just yet, and that's going to mean that the top barrier falls in the face of that core flip greed. And now we have 2 core flips on the side of Dog and 1 on the side of PLX in Cows. So we're going to see that's used, but a counter flip is used by Envy excellently, but doesn't really have an angle because both of his forwards are too far away, and that's a piercing shot from Cows. There was no one to cover the clear angle. Envy would have had to try and go for a risky corner clear there, but with how fast Estelle and Rasmus can be, going for a corner clear there is just giving them more setup as well. So really bit of a bind there for Envy.
Yeah, definitely a rough situation here, and with all those cooldowns on Cows, it's very hard to it's already hard to play against Estelle, especially on this map, and when you can't track the cooldowns against the primetime hot shot or the primetime rapid fire heavy impacts, when you have to do a cross barrier, cross net clear, it's basically going to get sniped in. I mean, now it does look like Dog have managed to even up the barrier count a little bit here, keeping it 1-1, but they got to reverse sweep the set once again. They have a couple flips to work with here if they can get into a good position, but so far PLX are just keeping it on this bottom side of the map, where just in this open space where Zay and Cows kind of have a lot more agency to work with. Core flip here from Switch to try and send it over, but now another core flip here burnt from Sloopin, and it's not going to get much, and now they're down 2 flips, and there's Cows able to find a shot onto the barrier. They got an open goal to work with here, but Switch able to find one in return. Now Sloopin trying to set something up, passing it up to Switch. Zenolt coming out. Sloopin able to intercept the hook here. Pass up to Switch. Cows blinks in. Is able to get control. Envy almost a scary miss there, but able to recover it and get it back over there. Cows not looking too healthy. Core flip coming out from Zay. Shots at the top. Envy able to block that one away, though. It actually gets it around Vaga. Cows was going for the strike, but Switch found the hit stun and was able to just float right in off of the clear. Dog will put themselves on the board to set 5. But one more point, and PLX will take the series.
Yeah, and you could also see that was the team player on Asher coming into play there with the red core on basically every strike, making it so much easier to clear. And that might be the win con for Dog here in this final set, where if they can make it stall to overtime and get those free red cores, then that's just going to be so much free clear and so much momentum swing off of that goalie. But Zentaro dying is not the way you want to do that. And so Envy gonna save the core flip, gonna have it available, and Sloopin's gonna try and get the top barrier there in the end. Really good find. Core flip is actually whiffed by Envy and hooked away from the net, but it's not enough to actually secure that barrier. It's now 1 barrier to 1 barrier. And again, it's flipped for Vega, so that's his top barrier, and he's the one in the uncomfortable position this time. And so goes back up to the top left corner, goes over to Zentaro though. Strike shot from Vega is good though. Cow teleporting forward, core striking. Only after Rasmus joins in is it enough to get that barrier. Now it's 1 barrier to 2, 2 points to none. And Envy managing to clear it through Cows, through the piercing shot, through the crystal thorns, through everything that Estelle has. And it's core flip out of Zentaro, down to the bottom barrier. Actually countered by Vega, but then countered again by Sloopin. Just back and forth a ton right there. Piercing shot is good. We're now deep into overtime. Red cores all over the place. If Asher touches, that's a great bottom barrier there. The Zentaro almost goes down. It's a great core flip out of Rasmus. Buys a little bit of time. The Crystal Thorns is good, but not good enough. Asher has her hands on the ball for a second. Zentaro goes down again. Sloopin, can you 1v3? The answer to that question is not quite yet, but it's also not a loss just yet. Great clear by Asher. Buys a lot of time. Zentaro's back in 2 seconds. This clear might be the last one, but it is the last point as Cows finds the piercing shot angle right before Zentaro comes back in.
And with that point, it is PLX taking the series over Dog. The dominant team will stay on top, but it was a really good performance from Dog regardless. Both games went to set 5, and they kept it close the whole time. They absolutely got that dog in them, and I have faith that they will be able to find a win in this league. At some point, if they were able to do that good against PLX, I'm hopeful for the rest of their season. But regardless, this will bring PLX now to 5-1, sitting very comfortably in the second place spot, only taking 1 loss to Plink Plunk, who have gone absolutely lossless. But I mean, just looking at these stats here, 275 redirects on Sloopin, 231 on Envy, but everyone over on PLX also actually nearing that 300 mark. 274 on Cows, 270 on Zay Forever, who also had 50,000 damage on Rasmus, by the way, and 6 KOs. That's kind of crazy, especially for Oni Village to get that much damage and that many KOs on a character who's not normally like a big damage dealer. So it's a pretty crazy gameplay coming out from Zay there, but that is our first series there. You have anything else to say about that?
It was a great series to watch. Dog did play really well, but it seems they have that 5th set curse. They can always get there, but in the end, it's just not enough. A lot closer of a game than we were expecting, but also going to be a close game is what's up next. So we're going to cut to a break here, but if you stick around, we're going to get to see teams fighting for that playoff spot, tied for 6th place. We're going to see Pass versus a named team up next, so do stick around, but see y'all for now.
All right, everybody, we are back with our second series of the day, Pass versus a named team, both currently sitting at a 2-3 record and tied for that 6th place spot. So this is a pretty big game for them as we are sort of over the halfway mark of the season. We start thinking about those playoff placements and where you wind up. And it's these kind of 5th and 6th place teams that are really kind of battling it out to either get into playoffs or not get into playoffs. So this is a pretty big moment for both of them. And of course, having a win over another team down here is pretty big as well for like tiebreakers and stuff. So big implications for this series right now as we're going to be getting into it. First game looks like it's going to be Night Market. Ad Rush Peak Performance start here as well. So potentially a decent KO game. Could see some Juliet come out and whatnot. But either way, looking to be pretty interesting. Pretty standard map selections here as well. But yeah, going to definitely be a pretty tight series.
Yeah. The AtLab Map 3 decider is usually AtLab is picked earlier, but when it's that Game 3 decider, if we get to there, it's usually a blast to watch because then both the teams are warmed up and they know that map really well, so they can really leverage a lot of cool angles and tech that we don't often see. But going into Night Market first, we're going to have a Mako ban and an IME ban in the face of Ad Rush and Peak Performance. Kazan, Fani, and Rasmus being picked up by one team, and the Ember Monarchs, the Canon team, Kai Era X, picked up on the other end. So kind of neat for them to pick that up.
All right, and now getting into the game. Looks like we have everyone going with a Peak Performance start here as well. We see the X Era Classic combo come out from the side of Pass as well. And meanwhile, you got General Twee on the Finny midfield, which is not something you see like that often. Usually it's a Finny goalie here, but Hamster Quest opted for the Rasmus goalie instead, which I personally think is a really good pick on this map. You get a lot of that kind of vertical space to work with, which is what you like as Rasmus goalie. And into X as well is actually a pretty good pick because X has a very small area of influence, and Rasmus's whole deal is just keeping the core away from the brawler to begin with. So it could make for a pretty good defensive situation for the side of a named team right here.
Yeah, another thing that's really good of the Rasmus into X is he can just use primary to cancel an X dash, so he doesn't have to risk too much there as long as he has the ability up, of course. But a core flip from Tragic is going to send it almost to the goal, but Hamster Quest is, of course, not going to get caught by that so easily. We have Sky Genji here up with a not able to use the core flip there, holding on to it greedily, and misses the corner shot there, allowing Hamster Quest to get a counter flip out, and goes up to Spartan, hits it into the corner, dribbles it around this X, but it's not enough to score. But it gets back over to Kazan, and Kazan is able to send it in there. Tragically missing out there, eject buttoning up a little bit too high when he was a little bit too low earlier, just on either side of that goal from Spartan.
Yeah, and now with core flip up on each side as well, I mean, once again, both these teams just keeping it pretty close, but an unfortunate missed flip there is not really great, as now it's out of energy for the side of a named team. However, Hamster Quest with a great death touch is able to cancel out David's core flip as well, kind of even up the playing field a little bit here. They will lose one barrier off of it, but they're still able to hold pretty strong here. David and Sky Gengi looking to set something up. Tragic pushing up with the Magical Maelstrom as well. Will be enough to secure that second player for the side of Pass now. As now it's Spartan looking to set something up in this top side and maybe bring down a barrier of their own. However, Tragic able to strike war that one away. Now pushing up here, all three members of Pass up in the goalie box, looking for the shot. Giga Blast coming out, Bewitching Beam here to make Sky Gengi big, but it's not quite enough. Hamster Quest able to hold it down here. Double strike war win here as well. Sky Gengi taking a lot of damage though, and there's the death touch. Hamster Quest able to finish off that X and start the power play here for a named team. Spartan able to get one barrier, and they're looking for more potentially here. Tragic trying to keep this core as far away from Spartan as possible. General Twee trying to send it right back in. They will manage to hold out against the power play. Sky Gengi is back online. but it's still a named team who are looking to hold on to this core for as long as possible. Nice redirect here from Hamster Quest to send it back into the midfield as well. Pop up here from Spartan. Core flip from Tragic to counter that. It's going to send it down to the bottom where David can hopefully work with it a little bit. A card from General Twee, though, sends it back in. There's the triple take as well. Grand finale, but it's not a good angle over Spartan. Able to recover it and bring down that second barrier here. Now it's just Hamster Quest to try and get it back out and set up a scoring opportunity for the forwards here. Death Touch will be good to get it away from the bell ringer. General Twee sending it into this bottom corner. The hook from Spartan's not quite good, though. Will allow Tragic to kind of clear it out of there. Great eject button here as well from Tragic. But they're a little bit on the back foot right now. Now Hamster Quest trying to send it back in. Davey just pushed it right back up. Pass over. Core flip from General Twee. Sends it to Spartan. The crook leverage comes out, but Tragic is not fooled by that one. Does not lose to the Kazan flowchart. Bell ringer from Sky Jengi sends it back in. Hamster Quest with the core flip will save that one away. Now General Twee and Spartan trying to set up this score, but so far past are able to hold it down with all three members on the defense, and it's just going around and around we go.
Yeah, and it just does keep going back and forth, quite similar to Oni Village, although that's not often the way it goes on this map. So both teams pretty even here, which is really nice to see, and I'm looking forward to how this goes. A hook back just to steal it away from the enemy forward, keep some momentum, steal some momentum, I should say. But then it goes right back over. Davey does get his hands on the core. Trash is coming up to try and make this a 3v2 in the enemy goal, but that leaves it open, so he has to eject button back when Spartan gets a hold of it. The card from Fania is good, but not good enough. Hits the corner instead of the goal. Spartan trying to get it through here, but this corner is just where it's just headed for every single time. Giga Blast is going to mean that Spartan is very low on health, potentially looking to be killed by Sky Genji's core flip. Again, Hamster Quest really pulling out the hook tech here. Hit it at the enemy and then dribble it back from them. And that's a great hook there from Spartan. Dribble into the corner, tripping up Tragic, making him waste the strikes and abilities there. Both Hamster Quest and Spartan with that same kind of thing where you just do what's unexpected to make the enemy waste their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty long round here as well before Spartan was able to eventually set that up. However, with a quick core flip of a kickoff, both barriers fall down pretty quickly here for a named team as David and Sky Jengi just pushing this corner really hard right now. It may be a different story this go around. Tragic up in the midfield here as well, now fighting Spartan and General Twee. We'll get it out of there. Sky Jengi looking for the dash punch into X Maximus on General Twee. Not going to be able to find it there as Finney will stay alive for now. Tragic still trying to get this core back over to the forwards right now to set up another scoring opportunity, but this is a very similar situation that a named team was in last time, being down 2 barriers here, but Hamster Quest is able to hold with that flip to send it back in. However, the barriers are not falling for them, which is a little bit rough. We saw how long that last point went. That it may just be the name of the game here for a named team is drag them out really, really long, just have good defense, and eventually Spartan and General Twee will be able to get some barriers off of Tragic. There's one just as we hit overtime. It took a little bit, but they will eventually get it. And I mean, hey, as long as Pass don't score, they're golden.
Yeah, sort of stealing their team name and passing to each other. Just keeping the core in the midfield, keeping it going as long as they can here. And eventually, not going to be scored on, but the core flip from Era is denied by a great Rasmus secondary. The night market angle almost gets him in the end, but a great corner shot is going to mean that's cleared for now. Fani able to get it to herself there with the triple take. Kazan not able to get it through this Kai and X combo with that cannon team buff. Guy Genji is going to use the ult and try to kill Spartan, but actually gets Fani'd instead. The Era NATO is really going to Spartan, which means he's dead after the bell ringer from X, but an X primary is going to set up the X for that. Really unfortunate, but a really good find by Sky Jengi there. I think it probably the X dash probably would have hit with the bull rush there, but that primary hit him back a little bit more, so it hit more securely on that.
Yeah, and with Pass now putting themselves up on the board here. It is, however, a named team who are going to start us off once again. They're going to get that first barrier here, and actually a second one now, a bit of a reverse of what we've been seeing. They've got 2 barriers down. And Hamster Quest, a great death touch, is going to keep both of a named team's barriers up for now. However, Sky Jengi with the strike war will change that all. It gets over to Spartan with the press the point, is going to be able to get it past Tragic and take set 1 for a named team. A pretty long set as well. Hamster Quest is already level 7 off of set 1, which is pretty crazy here, but some potential nice rewards here. Looks like Orb Ponderer will be the pickup for the goalie, or Big Fish. Either are going to be good here for Rasmus, but it looks like it will be the Orb Ponderer, which is pretty nice.
Also keeps from Kai and Tennessee the hover there, probably wandered himself. Fani has the options of team player to sort of back up that midfield, but is going to take Big Fish away from the X. A little bit of stagger as well to stay alive is pretty nice. That doesn't mean that Kazan doesn't get it, but he does get unstoppable. X with Hot Shot is unconventional, but you can see that it does still give him resets on his abilities. So, you know, if your Bell Ringer or your Bull Rush hits the core, which it usually will because they're pretty wide hitboxes, or, you know, if you're using X Maximus, all those can actually have some pretty nice effect if you just happen to hit the core with your ability while you're beating people up. And then, of course, Glass Cannon going the way of Tragic and Monumental is going the way of Era are also not picks to be slept on. Great hooks, though, from Hamster Quest playing super far up, and you can kind of see both goalies are playing super far forward because it's just required. The forwards aren't quite cutting it in these situations, so you need that third player. But that does mean that they're more vulnerable, as we saw at the end of last point, where Tragic played a little bit too far up, kind of got baited by the iron defense of Hamster Quest, so that when it got past, it actually meant that it really went past into the goal. But there's going to be 2 barriers going down for Ant, and they will soon be able to get a barrier there, though. They're on thin ice. They're playing this on a razor's edge. Even Spartan with a little bit of a back pass there into the Rasmus secondary, and Sky Jengi not able to find that hit a little bit too low, so he hit the corner and the wall instead of that, but ooh, the Monumentalist Era, but the hook onto X instead of the core. He's just too big, can't get it through, and Hamster Quest holds onto that core flip a little bit too long. So it's going to mean that the goal is scored in the end.
I saw the vision, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough. The strike war won by Sky Jengi does mean a pass is first on the board here. And the barrier going down here as well. It's pretty nice for them. The grand finale coming out almost finds the double KO, but unfortunately not quite enough power on the Finny just yet to be able to get any of those cheeky KOs. Not enough stagger scaling. However, the double stagger on General Twee is definitely putting in a bit of work. Finny already moves very quickly. It's just moving even faster. However, Sky Jengi just absolutely annihilates General Twee with that core flip and is able to get the barrier off of it as well. So now with an open goal, it's going to be a little bit rough. Yeah, Sky Jengi just able to win the strike war and sink it in. Pass seem to be able to get most of their points when they're on the power play. And, you know, with the scaling comp, Era X, you kind of expect to lose that first set and then start to come online later. So this all seems kind of normal for what they're running.
Yeah, and especially when that first set goes on, so you can actually get a lot of levels on that X. It actually does mean that that first set going so long actually helped out Pass a lot, that they were able to make it go so far. So Sky Jengi, though, taking quite a bit of damage there, even while doing the same to Fani. So potential kill angle there, but a bit of an unfortunate bounce there from Tragic's core flip is going to mean that momentum kind of stalls out there, and the core returns to this midfield position that we see it in so often. But passes down to General Twee, and amazing grand finale there, able to sink that in a great usage of the Kazan primary there as well in the open form. That Umbrella just able to get it through there after Tragic tries to clear it using it, just uses everything already, has nothing left in order to actually defend against that. And also, Spartan does have the core flip going to this point. He's going to use it immediately to hit that. Almost hits the double night market angle there. Would have been insane to see. But still got one, and General Twee's going to get the second with a card. Amazing play here. Ant is on the attack. They are really putting on the pizzazz this time, able to get those 2 barriers very quickly. But the grand finale angle is slightly off, goes to the top corner instead of the top of the goal. And that means that it's going to stall out again a little bit longer. Sky Jengi is looking a little bit low there, has the core flip to dodge, and is just going to put a lot of damage on General Twee. Says, you know, you might kill me, but if I kill you first, it's still a 1-for-1, it's still worth, but didn't actually manage to kill Twee, and now looking very low for nothing now. As long as he's able to regenerate, it's going to be fine, but these constant hits from Hamster Quest are just keeping him from regenerating in the grand finale as well. Now he's staggered, and that just means that they're kind of just hitting around in the midfield while trying to kill the X. And that seems to be the game plan of a named team here. And that's going to be a kill. A great hook onto Sky Jengi there. Finds that, and now it's a 3v2 power play. They're trying to put it in. Kill flip out of Twee is going to put Kai in the dust, but the Monu Arenado is going to put a little bit more time in this play for X to respond and return. But Spartan finds a great top corner angle there against David, who is an Era in the goal that has no ult anymore, and only so much that she can do there.
Yeah, getting a goalie KO is pretty massive at this point. For really anyone, but as we saw there, a named team is able to capitalize on that. quite well. Kickoff going a little bit interestingly. No barriers going down, but Sky Janky did take a lot of damage. Will be able to recover, though, and actually pick up a barrier here on his own against Hamster Quest, who is already level 9. Like, these sets have been going on so long. These rounds are kind of crazy here, but now both barriers are down to the side of a named team. Spartan will be able to pick up one here for himself, though. The grand finale coming out from General Tree secures another one. Both sides opened up. There's a magical maelstrom from Davey to try and clear it out. However, General Tree able to send it back into this bottom corner, but Spartan not quite able to grab a hold of it just yet. Now it's Hamster Quest versus Sky Jengi once again on the top side. Death Touch coming out. Not going to be a long enough hit stun, but a great strike war from Hamster Quest. We'll see it saved off this first time. Now trying to get it through. Tragic here pushing up. Pass down to David. Dribbling on this bottom side. There's a magical maelstrom to try and push it up to Sky Jengi. Pops the X Maximus looking for the shot, but Hamster Quest holds it down. Core flip here from David. Canceled by Spartan's core flip, but blocked away by Tragic. Right as we hit overtime here. Hamster Quest with the Death Touch. Saves that shot away, but Sky Jengi has a flip up. Just gets back over to the X. It could be dangerous. Burning it here. There's the triple take right in front. And Spartan able to yoink it away as it gets stalled out. Giga Blast sends it backwards, but David able to catch it. General Tree pass up to Spartan. Core flip from Tragic. Send it wide. But Sky Jengi not quite able to grab a hold of it here. Now Tragic once again trying to set something up. Spartan with the crook leverage blocks that one away. Sky Jengi with a shot blocked by the Death Touch from Hamster Quest. Great prediction. Gives it back over to Spartan, who's able to secure it with a top spin. And that's a named team taking a second set.
Yeah, absolute amazing performance by both teams. The Spartan at the end, they're using the entire kit to really leverage Kazan's abilities there and just send it through the Kai there. Tragic, of course, put up phenomenal defense, but in the face of so many abilities, it is hard to contend. Fani gets the first pick here, which is really great. Has the options of something like Siege Machine for the ult, but he's going to pick up Quick Strike, denies Kai, and it's also just an amazing generic ability. Just buffs every character so much. But that does mean that Kai gets Rapid Fire, but Kazan gets Prime Time, and Era gets none of that. And that means that Hamster Quest can pull up something like Heavy Impact or 1-2 Punch just to make the clears a little bit easier. Era gets Era Ulls, and that is an X picking up Heavy Impact. I think everybody got something that they like there, pretty much. You know, of course, the Quick Strike on the Fani is not like one of her biss. It's not super special for her getting it, but it is still a really good ability on her, so really good pickup there. But that is actually Fani dying off the start of this, and Tragic is playing super up in this power play. They do get the double barriers down, barely 10 seconds into the round, and Sky Jengi trying to get it through Hamster Quest, but it's not that simple when he's just winning these strike wars so convincingly. Great tech by Twee, actually, to surprise Jengi there with the card from behind. Don't expect that one. But again, it just returns this midfield, and the aim of the game really is, can Hamster Quest defend? And the answer that time is no, as a great Era NATO from David is able to sink that in. Just good play there, and yeah, it might be that the Era X comp is beginning to scale into this late game, where they will be very difficult to contend with.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to look that way here, but Hamster Quest is playing some pretty good Omega Strikers right now, absolutely holding it down on the Rasmus goalie, and all of these sets, or all these sets have been 2-2 sets. They've gone to set 0.5 every single time, so I would not count a named team out by any metrics. They are winning the overall game as well, as Spartan right there is able to pick up a double barrier and keep both sides opened up here. Hamster Quest looking for a place to send it right now. Up to the top, it looks like, but Tragic is going to respond to that. Trying to keep it in midfield here. Spartan, however, is able to grab a hold of it. Core flip from Davey to send it away. It's going to get right back over to where it was now, as Davey with the Magical Maelstrom working up, trying to get it to Sky Jengi. The grand finale comes out, but unfortunately it's not quite enough. David able to rearrange it in there. Will mean that pass will bring it up to a set point, sitting at a comfy 2-0 for a first time here, as they look to maybe take a set in this game.
But Hamster Quest always has the option for their reverse sweep, and they've been kind of reverse sweeping every individual point where they lose both their barriers early and then come back later on it, so definitely not counting them out, as you said earlier. And a great red core there, but Tragic is, of course, on top of that, not going to let it fly like that through. Hamster Quest just misses the primary! Wasn't going to get there in time for the strike, so ended up using the primary, but just missing. Really unfortunate way for that to end, and that is the first sweep, and potentially the beginning of the end, as we do see Era X starting to scale, and Era gets Catalyst, Reverb, Chrono Boost, even Stinger just to put some more damage on the enemy team. All good awakenings there, and we're going to see what is picked up here is the Reverb for the cooldown. Rasmus does get the Rampage, not as good as on the goalie Rasmus, but he has been playing fairly far up and getting a lot of long shots in, so he's probably going to get a few assists on that. Chrono Boost going to Kai is very nice. Catalyst going to Fani, of course, denies the X and is also, again, generically pretty good. That does mean that Kazan gets Stinger, and that is going to be a fair bit of damage as well. Even though the X has the Reptile Remedy, it doesn't heal as much as Stinger damages. So as long as you put some damage on, you'll counteract that Awakening.
Yeah, some pretty nice pickups in general. Tragic going to be able to fly a lot more now, and we already see the KO come out there against Spartan. Kazan, not famous for being able to stay alive, especially against an X who is rocking all of this, these heavy impacts plus the buffs from David. It's just a lot to contend with here for poor Spartan. But now it's actually Sky Janky who's taken a fair bit of damage. We'll have to recover here a little bit before getting back in there. Now the grand finale is coming out, though, and that's going to be even more damage onto him here. However, an unfortunate angle there is going to mean that the barrier will go down for the side of a named team. Core flip here from General Twee, but nowhere to send it. Davey just right there in the midfield to send it right back into Sky Janky, who's able to win the 1v3 just with the big strikes and with the bell ringer and put Pass first on the board here as the momentum has definitely started to shift more in their favor now that they've started to scale as a comp.
Yeah, it is definitely pretty big to see that. I mean, earlier every single point was such a hard-fought battle, and they're still fought, but it is just seeming like A&T just cannot keep up. They cannot keep the core very long on the other side of the field, so they're just losing out in the end in these. And so they're beginning to fall behind this Era X scaling, and there we go. Hook onto Jengi is actually really good there, interrupts the strike, and the gig is almost good enough, but a crazy save and an evade save, but not enough in the face of the Bewitching Beam and the X Maximus levied there against him. So difficult to contend. That's, 4 or 5 hits in such a close proximity. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, it's definitely looking a little bit rough at this point, and I mean, General Twee is pretty fast and has a lot of energy to work with, but I mean, right there, Spartan just getting absolutely taken off the board by the giant Maelstrom is, kind of what's really helping Pass out a lot, getting these power plays and just making it a 2v3. Because I mean, even a very fast Finny with Quick Strike's Catalyst is not going to be enough to deal with that. Just X walking up, getting big, and winning the Strike Wars here. As it suddenly, what went from a pretty close game has turned into Pass just kind of beginning to steamroll. And now looking at these Awakenings here, it looks like stacks on stacks as well as Might of the Colossus are going to be showing up. Orb Dancers here as well. So it could be a kind of a tough draft for a named team. Stacks going over to David is very scary. It's a really good Awakening, especially on Era. Bulk up pickup here from Sky Jengi. Not going for the Might, actually just opting for a third Stagger Awakening, which is probably more power anyway. So that's pretty terrifying. And Might ends up going over to Tragic to deny it away from Spartan, who gets the explosive entrance instead. So once again, another really good draft here for the side of Pass, as we're in set 5 and they're just looking to close it out, I think.
Yeah, and another part of that is, if the X takes the Might of the Colossus there, then Fani can take bulk up. But, he can't really make as much, or Fani can't really make too much use there, so really good sort of knowledge of the enemy there to not give them an Awakening. Even though Might of the Colossus would have been good with the X Maximus, it's better to just take the consistent power of bulk up and deny your opponent that thing. So really good stuff. We're going to see Spartan here finally living more than 10 seconds into a round because he's not immediately focused by the enemy team. And he's actually starting to do some stuff, but how long is that going to last with all this power suddenly brought to bear? Because he just gets bull rushed by X. He's actually staying alive long enough, and General Twee on the Fani is actually able to do so much there as well, and the triple take is enough to send it into the corner and up. Spartan was there covering just in case Tragic somehow managed to clear that, but in the end, it's Twee that's going to be picking up the first goal, and a named team saying, you know what, we gave you a couple, we want to make it a little bit of a close game, you don't want anybody rage quitting or anything, but now we're going to win, okay? It's over now.
Yeah, they will be first on the board here, but that's General Twee going down, and Hamster Quest going down as well. Sky Jengi with the big double. It's just Spartan in the 1v3, and will it be enough here? Tragic is walking up with the barrage here. Topspin trying to hold it, but a pass down to David. Core flip here from Spartan. Stalls it out. Manages to hold. Twee and Hamster Quest are both back online, but Sky Jengi with the bull rush is going to be able to get it through all three of them. The classic. Spartan holds in the 1v3, but then Sky Jengi wins a 1v3 regardless. To tie it up here for Pass, as now with an energy advantage as well off of 2 players from a named team dying, it could be a little bit rough here as Tragic is looking to utilize some of that speed that he's got and be a lot more offensive here.
But another crazy thing there is Hamster Quest has the double orb rampage, so dying there is massive. Not able to actually leverage the power of those anymore. Has to stack up the orbs, though I don't believe he had a rampage stack. But still, just not a good thing to have happen. A great kill find onto General Twee there, but also great hook by Hamster Quest. You just can buy a little bit of time. But it's not enough. Both the barriers go down now again, and it's just the same story of the top corner with the Maelstrom coming in with the X, who has X Maximus available. And they're just able to finally clear it there. Actually, double barrier by Spartan is huge and potential for a resurgence here. But they just cannot get around SkyGenji until right then. The triple take misses, though. The night market angle is good for ANT. Can they get it through? The answer with this Arenado for now is no. But there it goes, back over to the other side of the field and just keeps going back and forth. Hamster Quest with the secondary is amazing. The Kai Barrage actually misses, but he's able to strike it down. Spartan finds the angle to the top and scores the goal. Right in overtime there with the red core off of the Kazan strike in closed form is just so good for that. That find is huge because it puts them on the match point and puts Pass in a little bit of a mental situation where you are 1 point away from losing. You just lost your barrier and you just wasted core flip as well. That is not a good place to be in. It might be that this is the mental victory here. General Twee has core flip, going to use it to really awkwardly pass up there with some night market angling to Spartan, who gets a barrier. And now you're 2 barriers down. You just lost a point. You are 1 point away from winning. And it might be that Pass just cannot get over that mental block. SkyGengi is trying to find the kill, finds the barrier. But can they stop it? Barrage says yes. But the card says no! And that is going to be the match point in this first game.
Name team Will Baitage to bring it back. I say bring it back. They were winning convincingly in the beginning, and then Pass started to bring it back, but then a name team managed to close it out regardless and take the win there. General Twee with 272 redirects, Hamster Quest with 261 here, and Tragic with 280. Everyone in this game was actually just putting up some pretty crazy numbers in general. 99 saves as well on Hamster Quest, 96 on Tragic. Is kind of crazy. And if you look at the damage as well, SkyGengi had 40,000 with 5 KOs, but General Twee also had near 40,000 just by playing Finny and existing. But yeah, a good win for a named team to start them off. And as we go into Game 2 over on, what was that? Clarion Corp. Yeah, I mean, Pass looked good there. They just weren't able to close it out. And I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a close one regardless. I mean, that was certainly a close one. We saw in those earlier rounds, it was 0.5 every single time. And I don't really know what to expect going into the next one. I don't know what comp changes to expect as well. I kind of questioned the Finny pick on General Twee, but it ended up working out pretty well as they won the game. And obviously, General Twee got a lot of redirects and was moving really fast with that build that he had. So I'm curious how they're going to end up playing this one and how draft is going to end up going, what Awakenings will end up determining kind of how that goes and whatnot.
Yeah, unless it's banned, I'm definitely thinking that a Finny resurgence is going to happen. Finny can be pretty good on a lot of the variants in Clarion Test Chamber, especially if you're already warmed up on that midfield. So General Twee bringing that into a second match is, I think, probably going to be the play. Of course, it depends on the Awakenings, like you said. It might completely favor. If it's a Monu start, it now isn't banned, that might be a pickup there as well. But it should be interesting to see how the teams play this one out indeed. There's a lot of picks that you can play that are similar. We could even see a complete run back of these teams. None of these characters are particularly bad on Clarion. And I don't know if they have a Rune pick or a Dubu pick that can be pretty good on some of those variants, but it should be interesting to see what they pull out.
Yeah, definitely curious to see how this ends up panning out. And that was a named team's map pick as well, Night Market. It's generally a pretty neutral map pick, but they did pick it first here. So getting a win on it, it's a pretty good way to start it off. But of course, Pass, maybe they chose this map. They chose it over Gates. They chose it over Demon or Oni. So they're they're not looking to play anything specific. They're looking to keep it neutral, relatively. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see kind of the kitten comp thing again. It seems like that's what they want to do. And it works generally kind of everywhere. It's sort of best on night market, but it still definitely works kind of anywhere. Um, so we'll just have to see. I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of run back what they had before, and maybe just play it a little different, get some different, maybe get some different drafts and whatnot. And of course find a way to get it around Hamster Quest. And speaking of Hamster Quest, I mean that was some pretty crazy Rasmuscoli gameplay. And Clarion Test Chamber is probably the best Rasmuscoli map. Night Market's really good too, but I think Clarion is just like slightly better. So if we see that again, that could be huge for a name team. Honestly, just put Hamster Quest back on the Rasmuscoli and just let him cook defensively. Um, and then beat the X if they do go for the X again. It could very well just be kind of a repeat of last game where it's sort of a close couple sets, but then a name team pulls it out just because they're playing better on the day. Could be an angle like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of angles this could go, and I definitely think that Erasmus pick here is pretty good. There's a lot of variants that you can really leverage, like especially like on the Atlas variant, being able to hook it from the top or hook it from the bottom, shoot it to the top, or vice versa, is just amazing because you can rotate the core faster than pretty much anyone in the game can. And so that power on Rasmus on so many of those variants is amazing. And of course, if you walk up a little bit and snipe the little Era orb on the one variant as well, size is very good on him. You have to be careful doing that you don't give up the core, but definitely a pretty good angle that you can get on some of those. And if you play an X against that, and then they knock you into the poison on that one variant, the rune variant, then that's also something to be wary of. So we could see a complete run back, but we're going to see a hot shot start with bulk up as well, and that can favor a lot of different characters. I think bulk up is definitely really good for X, but you could see something like a Juno coming in. You could see something like an Estelle coming in as well. Estelle is pretty good on these variants as well. She can teleport around a lot of the walls. It's going to be pretty interesting to see what is picked and banned. But no Manu, so probably not an instant now ban, although you sometimes see it even still. But interesting to see what they're going to be coming up and cooking in this draft.
Stagger start's definitely something to keep an eye on as well, especially with Big Fish back in the game. I really like that Awakening quite a lot because you can kind of build the Stagger Exodia, and if you get a big guy as well, you can just get even more power, which is pretty nice. So you can kind of sort of, it's not as like crazy as it used to be where it was like Spark / Stagger Exodia where you got like Stagger Spark, one other Spark, and then like one other Stagger Awakening and just went insane. But you can sort of get that size Stagger hybrid going, which can be really strong on certain characters. So it's just it's kind of a good thing to have like just Stagger Awakening on start in general. It leaves a lot of options open for characters, especially with something with like Hot Shot where there's certain characters where it's just like really really good on, and then a lot of characters that it's just fine on. It's just nice to have that other option. So I am curious to see if it is going to be like an Estelle or Juno ban. I don't really know if that's like a big factor that either of these teams are thinking about. If anyone like really like plays Juno all that much, but I don't know. It could be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised though if it is actually just like an X ban from a name team if they think they're just going to face another kitten comp and just shut that down entirely. I don't know.
Yeah. Though in the face of this, I would actually say that an Era ban isn't too bad either, because if you take out the X, you can always replace X with Asher. You can always replace it with a Zentaro, with a Kazan, even though he doesn't fulfill the brawling role as well anymore. He's still really good at that control. There's so many things that you can replace X with, but you can really only replace Era with a Mako goalie or like a now midfielder to give the speed that's necessary to make that forward reposition. So we might even see an Era ban coming out if they're afraid of that, or even an Era pick themselves to deny it away, because of course they are the blue team here, I do believe. So they have that option of first pick. So whatever is okay, they're going to come out with the X band first. So they're not as worried about an Asher or something. And to be fair, Sky Gengi really played that X well and seemed to know a lot of the tech. So if there's a potential gamble of, if he just doesn't know the tech for the other characters as well, then that's a great ban, denying him his absolute best scorer. So we're going to see how that goes. And a Kazan ban as well, afraid of the Spartan tech there. Pretty fair, he did do quite a lot in that game, although I'm kind of surprised it's not a Rasmus ban. But Juno ban, or Juno pick immediately on that first pick with that hot shot. Pretty standard drafting, I would say, to have that Juno appear. And then we're going to see a Kai and a Mako coming up on the other end. So it doesn't seem like they're actually going to go for the era in the end with the X ban. So they might go a similar comp with the Mako speed, but not as likely. Coming to the pick 4 and 5 there. What do you think is the named team strategy here?
I'm not entirely sure because that could. I'm going to assume that's a midfield Juno and not a goalie Juno. I feel like it'd be weird to not play goalie Rasmus when they just did it and it worked really well and you're on a map that it works. But we do see the Zentaro come out here from Spartan, which is pretty nice. You're going to have that bulk up to work with as well. And whether that's, I'm assuming that's a Mako goalie as well. I don't know if a Mako forward would be good in this situation. You're against Hotshot Juno, and there's the Rasmus goalie pickup. So yeah, it's most likely a Mako goalie. But there's the now from Pass, and there's a lot of speed on that team. They're running double midfield, haste characters with a Mako buffing them, but no brawler. That's really interesting.
This might actually be Kai goalie Mako forward.
That's
just
true.
To have Mako, because the thing with Rasmus, if you are Mako, you could just throw your ult at him, and then there's not much he can do to clear that. He doesn't have a wall to stop that from happening. So if you run at him with a Mako, have the now to cover clears, then there's a lot that you can do against him. The other way this could go is with the Kai now, though, in that the Rasmus goalie can be quite weak to ranged characters. He can trip up with the hook, but he doesn't have any clear with his abilities that's super unique. If he clears out with any ability, you know where the core is going. It's always going in a straight line away from him. So ranged characters can really bully that and take advantage of that. Unlike something like a Giga Blast or an IME Glitch Pop, where you can make it go any direction you want, pretty much. So they either go, the Mako forward to try and bully him, just so that no matter what he does, it's not going very far from him, or they're going with the double ranged comp to just say, no matter where you cleared, it's going right back at you in 2 seconds. Deal with it.
Yeah, I think the double range comp makes more sense. Because like you said, it is good against Rasmus. It totally trips up what he wants to do. Because there's really any goalie where that wants to keep the core away from the forward struggles with ranged characters who are already standing back and not walking up toward the core anyway. Whereas honestly, if it's the Mako, here's the thing about the cage: Rasmus's abilities, go through the cage. So if the core isn't in there with him, he can clear it away with Whiplash and with Pendulum Swing. It's actually pretty simple. And even if it's in there with him, you can actually still hold on to it for a while. You activate Whiplash, hit it once against the barrier, Whiplash to hit a second time. Now the wall is gone and your strike got reset and you can clear it out. So the cage is actually not really that big a deal for Rasmus goalie. I would honestly be more afraid of the double midfield thing, but it is in fact a Mako forward here with a now backing up the greatest meme, who looks like has subbed in for the side of Pass right now. But I am liking what a name team has pulled out here from their comps. I'm curious to see how they end up doing it. This being said, it will be Pass who will start us off with the double barrier.
Yeah, and I think here the other thing is that it's a little surprising not seeing... it's surprising seeing Sky Gengi on the goalie, first of all, after playing the forward. Just completely swapping there. But then it's also surprising not seeing a Mom Boots or an eject button pick up so that he can play forward and play that kind of double midfield comp with Brawler. But it's working out really well there. A great angle find there into the center and just goes right by Hamster Quest, unfortunately.
Yeah, some good shots to start us off, but Yeah, we'll see if they're able to keep it up. They do have a bit of a level advantage with some ultimates to work with here. Going into it, and will be the greatest meme is able to secure that first barrier there for the side of pass, and now keeping it up on this side, taking a lot of damage though from the Obscura goo. Gonna have to recover just a little bit there. Tragic does have some healing to work with, as now Spartan and General Twee are the ones receiving a fair bit of damage. It looks like General Twee bouncing down into this bottom side, but Skyjangi able to make a good clear, and the greatest meme just knocking Spartan out of the park right there. Starting the power play for passes. Tragic working their way up the field, getting it over to the greatest memes, able to bring down that second barrier. Skyjangi walking up with the flip, gets hit stun by the death touch though. Spartan able to finish him off with the primary, the slice and dice. Now it's the power play for a named team, the goalie power play. They killed the goalie in their own goal box, which is crazy. And now they got the second barrier here. Skyjangi will come back to be able to reset this to neutral, but General Twee has the flip up. Not going to be able to burn it here. We'll choose to do it here, though. Tragic will block it away, though, unfortunately, as we go into overtime. But this is where those slimes are going to be coming in big. Doesn't matter, though, because Spartan with the Zentaro setup is going to be able to find it with the dash to tie it up 1-1.
Yeah, great find there by Spartan and great setup by Twee. And that's really going to be the thing here is if, and it's back to the momentum thing, if Pass get it to the other side of the map and they have that Kai and that now to back up a Mako, there's not a lot they can do. They find a great clear, though, as I'm talking about how hard it is to clear against this team. But the other thing also holds true. Juno is such a good setup for that Zentaro that if they can clear to their side, but unfortunately, Spartan actually whiffs the core flip. Tragic also has his own there. He's going to use it and goes for a demon angle on the bottom. Great find. Almost the absolute last pixel that could have been, and it goes straight in around Twee and around Hamster Quest as well, putting them 2-1 in the lead in this set. Great slimes off the start as well there, and now secondary, though, sends it backwards.
Back.
Good core flip there out of Spartan there to defend. And greatest meme managed to find the barrier there. Now Arrow just in secondary just to put some damage on Twee as well. Teleports up, but not able to get the goal there. Tragic. And that, ooh, great by greatest meme there, using the cage on the Rasmus. The hook is backwards and almost managed to save, but it's not enough with greatest meme hitting it one more time afterwards.
Yeah, and that first set now going over to the side of Pat. Oh my goodness. Monumentalist on the first set is a crazy reward here.
Maybe she tastes rapid fire. You never know.
No, it's Monu every time here. Oh my goodness. So yeah, crazy reward here for Pass, and that's going to give a name team a little bit of trouble, most likely. Team player pickup here for Hamster Quest for a bit more of that core speed to work with, as well as that hot shot. The core will be going pretty fast here. Some more stagger over on Spartan to stay alive. Chrono boost on Skyjangi is pretty big. He's already been playing up a lot, playing offensively, and that's just going to help out this Kai a lot more. And General Twee just going, looks like, for the Unstoppable. Yeah, Unstoppable does what Unstoppable does here. But yeah, I mean, the Monumentalist is just a huge pickup for Pass, and on top of the extra speed on Skyjangi, they're looking pretty good coming off of that draft.
Yeah, I mean, anytime a now gets Monu, it's basically a one draft from the start. No matter what else happens, you could have like an X taking Siege Machine, and it would still be a one draft. And Tragic's going to find a good angle there towards the goal, but it's too slow to go by Hamster Quest. Good hook onto Greatest Meme, though, is going to mean that the core flip is used in front of the goal. Still not enough, though. Good defense by Twee on the bottom, allowing Hamster to cover the top, and a great secondary is going to send it back up to the top. The angles are really unfortunate there, but that's actually Skyjangi going off the map and kills all of their forward momentum, and now Spartan has the core flip in front of the barrier again. Gonna elect not to use it until now, and is not going to get the barrier in the end. Greatest Meme has the core flip, but is also low on health. Also had the buff in the middle there, and is going to get hooked into the goal almost, but great presence there to use that dodge in the face of the Rasmus that would have gotten a kill there, certainly with the flip, and actually baits out Hamster Quest's flip. So at the end of the day, all according to plan to the Greatest Meme.
Yeah, some pretty impressive stuff there, but they still got one barrier to work through here. A named team has got to be able to get it down. The hot shots from General Twee coming in big, though, but it's also big. The Greatest Meme right now after picking up that orb in the center, but not able to grab control of the core. Hamster Quest doing a pretty good job of keeping it away. The cage coming out, though, but Hamster Quest, some nice redirects, is able to get a favorable bounce and get it out of there here. But the Greatest Meme strike force the slime. Shot to the top. It's going to be enough. Pass will be first on the board once again. Continue their carnage. General Twee does have a flip to work with this set, but it is looking kind of rough right now. Pass are making this comp work pretty beautifully and keeping a named team really on the back foot most of these rounds.
Yeah, the thing with Mako is that she follows a kind of similar pattern to like Asher and Dubu and even Atlas forwards, where you're kind of immobile. So as long as you can have the core passed to you by your team, you can do so much work. But only if you have a team to back you up. And with the now giving speed and the now Kai combo to pass the core to you, that sort of fulfills that for Mako, for Asher, or anyone else you want to slot in there. And that's actually a great kill flip from the greatest meme there onto the Juno. No more midfielder for the opponent, but a core flip from Spartan is potentially going to get the barrier. Just kind of sits on it for a second, lets the Juno get a couple more seconds on that respawn. And that's going to mean that momentum stalls a little bit in the game, but greatest meme hits towards there. Hamster Quest has the core flip, doesn't need it though, just going to strike it away for now. Goes up to Spartan, who uses the passive to almost get it, but a great defense by Sky Jengi there. Now playing full goalie, no more forward running up as much there. But a barrier goes down to the greatest meme. Great offense there, but a great offense on the other side as well. Gets to the other barrier, and just like that, we're now with both goals open and in overtime. Just very quickly, the map has now completely changed, and that's going to be Juno dying to the now arrow. Unfortunately, wasn't paying as much attention, walked kind of into it. Spartan going to get a little dribble around, but the passive actually messes him up there and sends him too far away. So the greatest meme is able to strike war solo 1v1 versus Rasmus, and that's never what you want to see as a goalie. Anytime you have a forward like the Mako, like the Asher, even like X with the X Maximus reset, it's so difficult to contend that 1v1 when they get the strike resets and they just have abilities they can throw out, even with the Mako nerfs. Great arrow as well from Tragic's going to find that first barrier in this point.
Yeah, and now Pass, I mean, they're on set point once again. They're making it look easy right now after coming off a crazy close game in game one. But I mean, the name team just kind of struggling in the midfield. I mean, Tragic is just like doing a lot of work, and Sky Jengi as well just keeps Spartan from really being able to do too much. And then the greatest meme, of course, is making some really nice shot placements here against Hamster Quest to bring down these barriers. But looks like a name team going for something here. Core flip from Spartan will eventually be enough to bring down that barriers. Hamster Quest now pushing way up in a bit of a dangerous situation, but the greatest meme winning the strike war. Yeah, and there it is, the punish. The greatest meme wins the strike war against General Twee, and Hamster Quest isn't there to be able to defend that one. Spartan wasn't able to rotate back in time, but I know it was a risk that they thought was worth taking if they could just score there. However, will be past, taking yet another set, and likely a stacks pickup here on now as well is very scary indeed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Rasmus gets Might or Orb Dancer still, which are pretty good. Kind of gets Explosive Entrance for more speed, so Sky Jengi is probably going to be playing even more far up and doing more triple forwarding. We have a prime time on Mako, which is terrifying if you're a goalie. There's so many hits that can come out. It was nerfed, so there is a little delay between when you can actually activate those hits, but it is not a ton of delay, so you still can get Strike Ward by Strike Primary, Primary, Strike Primary, Primary, and get, 6 free hits in as Mako there. So going to be very difficult if Mako has all of those up in front of Hamster Quest. Gets a goal barrier down there at the bottom off the bat, but there's at least a little delay here. No instant double barriers. We're getting a little bit more contention from a named team here, fighting back a little bit more, even in the face of now Manu, which is, of course, quite terrifying. Sky Jengi playing super far up with all this extra speed, and that's another barrier going down to this Mako. Secondary through the wall there. Just so much size on that ability from the now. From the Monumentalist. Sky Jengi going for a corner clear there, supported by Tragic there, managed to clear it through the Zentaro ult. Zentaro dash backwards, passes it to Hamster Quest in a really nice back pass play. Secondary from Rasmus is enough to get it cleared for now, but greatest meme hits a great prediction there to the top. Rasmus going, unfortunately, for a cover on the bottom there where General Twee already was. So not trusting the teammate there to cover against it, and just sort of you're trying to cover as a goalie what you think is the most predictable way, but sometimes you have to do what's unpredictable and just trust your team, and that's going to be another kill down for the side of Pass onto ANT.
Yeah, now with another power play here from Pass and some core flips to work with. Tragic burning it and sending it to the top side. The barrier is not going to go down just quite yet. Spartan is back online here, but I mean, looking at this level discrepancy, Spartan just hit level 6. Tragic's almost level 9. I mean, this guy's putting up a fair bit of work right now in the midfield and just keeping this core in the Greatest Beam's hands. And with the Mako primary, is going to be able to find that barrier here. As with an open goal now, it's going to be, once again, very difficult for the side of a named team to make something happen. We'll get one barrier here. Slime passing up to Spartan, but Tragic with the big Monumentalist is going to just clear it right back down. Giga Blast here from Sky Jenki to send it back in as well. The cage coming out from Greatest Meme. The Ensnare drums will be enough to bounce it around. Evering pass to match point, where they're looking to just take this one and bring it to a game 3. They're saying, go next. We want a real rematch now.
And yeah, that'll be on AtLab if we go there. So that's going to be super exciting to see. Again, some of these teams, you can see how they've been playing around the weird angles on this map. AtLab has some angles you can hit with Black Hole and some crazy stuff. We're getting a taste of that on the Atlas variant, with Tragic going for all the wacky plays with exploding that in the middle. So I'm looking forward to that. But A&T certainly isn't. They're looking to close this out here before they can even go there. And potentially 1 point left, they might start the reverse sweep. And I am, of course, always a fan of the reverse sweeps.
A reverse sweep would be pretty cool to watch, but we'll have to see if they can do it. It seems a little bit unlikely at the moment. So all this momentum that Pass has. However, the Greatest Meme is taking a fair bit of damage here, but no barrier is going to be going down. They will manage to take this Mako off the field, but Tragic is going to be controlling this core for the time being, just keeping it up in a named team's face. The barrage from Sky Jenki as well shuts down Hamster Quest's core flip. That's just to try and get it up, trying to capitalize on the power play, but the Greatest Meme is back online now. Now it's General Twee who's the one who's looking pretty low. Core flip here from Tragic does get stalled out, though. The core will remain over on past the side of the field. Core flip from Sky Jenki keeps the barrier up, though. But Tragic accidentally kicking it right into the slime. General Twee brings down that barrier, but going to lose a barrier here in return. Both sides open to now. And Pass looking to seal the deal here. Death Touch from Hamster Quest to keep it away. Tragic sends it right back in. Looking to get this past the Greatest Meme. General Twee is cutting off the pass, but the Gigas brings down Spartan. And Tragic pass to the Greatest Meme. General Twee jumping in will save it for now. But they got to hold out this power play here. Tragic and the Greatest Meme in the top side. Whiplash from Hamster Quest to save it that time. And a Pendulum Swing as well. He's got to send it just fast enough to get it below Sky Jenki. And it will be a named team to put themselves on the board, keep it from becoming a perfect game. But it still seems pretty unlikely here. They have a lot of work to do if they want to reverse this one.
They have a lot of work to do, but you start with 1 point, and that's what they've done, so they're going to keep on going. And this is potentially as well the mental game, the momentum of we've been losing, but we finally got a point. It's refreshing in that situation. It allows you to kind of reset that mental, but Greatest Meme ain't allowing that to happen. Core flip right in front of the barrier to get that second barrier, and that's a goal in 18 seconds to wrap it up. They let them have hope. They let them get that one goal just to say, yeah, you know, we'll dangle it in front of you. And just shuts that down, which is just such a mental blow as well going into this game 3 that a named team is going to have to deal with basically getting swept this entire game. It was a really close game at first, and in that really close game, you're really enjoying it as a player. You're like, oh yeah, this is fun to play the game. It's exciting, and we won, which is great. Let's do that again. And then you get swept this hard. You get 2 goals in the entire time. That is brutal, and that is such a flip that it can really flip up the players.
Yeah, I mean, Tragic with 170 redirects. These are normal now numbers, really. It was a really good pickup from them. This is a weird team comp, but it ended up working out really well and tripping up a named team a lot. Hamster Quest was not as rock solid on the defense, having to deal with not only the Mako up in his face, but also Tragic literally just running around, adding some more speed to a normally immobile character, and just being a general massive nuisance in the midfield. And of course, Sky Jenki just running up and throwing a lot of projectiles his way as well. Made it very difficult to hold it down. But, I mean, with that crazy sweep from Pass, they will be bringing us to a game 3 over on Atlas's lab, where, I mean, anything can happen, really, because one of these games was a fluke, right? You can't have a game that was as close as game 1 and then replace it with a game that was as such a sweep as game 2. So one of those games was a fluke by one of the teams. So game 3 is either going to be the same thing. It's either going to be neck and neck the whole way, or it's going to be a sweep by Pass. I'm curious to see how that ends up going over on AtLab. But I liked what Pass was showing us there, and with that kind of the roster swap around ended up working out really well for them.
Yeah, that, and then I think it's also a bit of a draft diff here. With the Awakenings and all that, with Monu going to now, of course, but the character draft as well. I think the Mako Now Kai was exactly the answer to that Rasmus goalie. So really well played there by Pass to go for that comp. And again, a little unorthodox, but exactly the counter that they needed. And Twee and Spartan weren't able to do as much either because of that now midfield just being so prevalent with that Monu later on. So just great stuff there from them. Another thing is the first game was a bit more of a brawl on that night market map. So if the teams are allowed to keep brawling, which Atlab does allow a bit of brawl, then it might sweep back to being that closer game. But I think if it holds to the control, then Pass has shown that they are very good, as their name suggests, at passing to each other and just getting those plays done.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll have to see the Awakenings once again, because I think Awakenings did determine that game a little bit. I don't think they would have picked the Juno if it wasn't a hot shot start. And I'm curious if they had just like run the Finny again, if it would have changed anything or not. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to deal with now in the midfield. It's not a lot of characters that can really like keep up with her. A lot, especially when she gets Manu on set 1. It can definitely be a real challenge to deal with. And when you have a Kai backing that up as well, it becomes very difficult. So I think it's hard to say what we'll see coming out from either team once again. I still wouldn't be surprised if they run another Rasmus goalie. It can still work on Atlab just fine. But I am curious to see if one of these teams is ever gonna like play into damage, because neither of them really have, despite getting a fair few KOs throughout this. Neither team has run like a true like tried and true like KO comp, unless you kind of count the kitten comp, but that's not really the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They run it a little bit different, but I'm curious to see if that ends up being a thing or not. Depending on maybe what we roll here, but it's hard to say. We could see the Juno again. We could see the Rasmus again. But I think a lot of it really comes down to Pass's player roster, since they did that big crazy switch, put Sky Jengi on goalie and brought in the greatest meme. That was pretty good. Sky Jengi's Sky was really nice there. And I wouldn't be surprised if we run it again. Kai's pretty good on Atlab, but it looks like we might actually be getting a roster change from a named team. Looks like they might be subbing out Spartan. So we could get a little bit more of a shakeup here.
Yeah, would be really interesting to see that, because that also adds a whole nother element to the pick ban of the characters. So we've been talking about the characters that were just played with those players and their knowledge, but if they throw in a wild card here that we don't know as much about, that hasn't played today, then that'll be an interesting trip up on that, and also an interesting one because unless they're warmed up, they're gonna have to warm up for that first little bit. So an interesting thing there, and definitely with the KO comps as well that you were talking about, Atlab does have a room for that, so it might be interesting to see one team go for a complete kill comp. And I think that if one of these teams did go for a full kill comp and the other team didn't have much kill potential, or like a Now or an Atlas to fight against it, there's definitely the potential for that kill comp to just sweep away the competition. Just because both these teams have shown that they're quite competent at getting kills. Being able to get kills against high-level players without a dedicated kill comp is a pretty no mean feat there.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we actually have Ignis coming in now for the side of a named team, swapping it out for Spartan on that brawler role, that scorer role. Ignis usually seen playing Zentaro. We did see Spartan pull out the Zentaro last game, and unfortunately, mostly I think due to the defenses of Pass, wasn't quite able to do all that much. That Now was just absolutely oppressive in the midfield. So we'll see now with a little bit of change on a named team's roster if they'll be able to get it done or not. Still waiting on the Awakenings to show up though. But should we get like a good Dash Awakening start, the Zentaro pick could be banned, could be whatever. And looks like they're here now. Rampage Deadeye is the start, and immediately a named team banning away the Now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also interesting that a named team is blue team again, it seems. So interesting how that worked out with the pick ban order. We also might see a Luna coming out here. I don't know too much if these players play it, but Luna, of course, with Deadeye is one of her best awakenings. So going to be interesting seeing how that all unfolds, which is also interesting to see sometimes the pick ban goes really slow at first when they're formulating their plan. Then you see it just like picks up really quickly towards the end. We might also see something like Erasmus coming out because he's very good on this map with the hook. Pass has a no ban, which might be a goof, and they did handshake on a different ban. So interesting to hear the lore on that one potentially at some point. But they're going to go for a Julie first pick going into AtLab, unless we just restarted because it did disappear. So they might have said, actually, we're going to go back and we're going to drop a ban instead of a no ban there. So bear with us for one moment while we restart that. It appears there's an internet issue that has caused the draft remake, so one of these players is going to be replaced, it appears. Quite unfortunate when that happens. I would have loved to see these players duke it out, but we'll see what happens. Whether they replace the player or just hopefully wait for the internet to stabilize.
Yeah, it's going to have to wait on that. But I imagine the now ban's probably staying the same from a named team. I don't see why it wouldn't. It was pretty scary to see there. But Rampage, Deadeye start, like you were pointing out, the Luna. I believe General Twee plays Luna. So that could definitely be something to see come out in the midfield. And maybe play around that kind of damage. You do have the Black Hole to work with on AtLab, so you can get some good damage comps going there. And if you do opt for the Rasmus goalie again, or even just go Vice goalie, Vice does a lot of damage, and after the stagger nerfs is not as good in like midfield, but still pretty good on goalie, like really good on goalie. So I don't know. It could be interesting if they like opted into that angle and just went for the Deadeye build, and then maybe pulled out like a Kazan or something, to use the Rampage. I don't know, but I think with what was available there, it could have actually been a kill comp angle, especially with banning the now. So I don't know. Hopefully, we get to see the same awakening. I'm pretty sure we do get to see the same awakenings, but yeah, we'll just have to see what the bans end up being from Pass, as obviously we didn't get to see that.
Yeah. One thing that could potentially happen here if they want to lean into it, if I don't know if Hamster Quest plays the Luna, but if they go like Luna with Twee back on the Fini, that's so much damage potential coming out. Even though they did nerf the Fini damage buff, still is a damage buff and still is quite powerful. And then Ignis, if he picks out that Zentaro, like you were saying, that'll be pretty brutal to contend with. Zentaro, Fini, Luna is a potential comp that could come out here. But of course, like you were saying, Vice really good with Deadeye. Even Estelle, surprisingly quite good with that Deadeye on her abilities, because they do have a fair bit of range to them. So you can actually knock people off the edge pretty easily, especially if you go like Pummeler's Deadeye with the piercing shot. Just really good power off of that. Of course, though, if you go something like the full kill comp, there is still Atlas, even if now is banned. So that might be a pickup on the other team, just to try and counteract some of the kills. And then, of course, you're trying to get as much cooldown as possible. A little awkward, though, if you go the Atlas into that start, because it was Deadeye Rampage. So might miss out on might miss out on a good starting awakening for that Atlas. But you've seen it before where, the Atlas on heavy impact, not really his best awakening, but you take it just because it's something that you can take that's not the other one that doesn't do anything at all for you. So we're going back into this, it seems. We're going to see if it's the same bands at first. I believe usually it is the same bands, but sometimes they do change it up. I believe the awakening should remain the same, although we do have a little bit of a PNG thing there. But to remind, that was Rampage and Deadeye on that start, and it is still the same as that set in the lobby. So unless they just haven't changed it in the lobby yet, we are running it back.
Yeah, more than likely running it back here. But yeah, just waiting on the bans and picks to come in. So
going to be a now ban with a Luna ban immediately after. They do not want to play against that Luna Fini comp. Would be absolutely brutal, so I definitely don't blame them. But that does mean that Vice is on the board. It does mean that Fania is still on the board. They're going to immediately pick up that Vice does a named team. So that is a lot of power on the board, and that's probably in the hands of Hamster Quest, but it could also be Twee on the midfield. Will remain to be seen which way that goes and which way this 2-3 pick goes, because you could attempt to take away the Fini or the Zentaro to prevent a giant damage comp coming out. You could pick up the Atlas to try and heal a little bit. They're going to go Kai and X, so we might see actually the Ember Monarchs make a return with that era on pick 6. But going to be interesting to see that played out. And of course, Deadeye is very good on Kai with the Giga Blast. The Rampage, of course, very good on X with the extra size, especially if you manage to get a Might of the Colossus later on down the line with the extra size from X Maximus and Rampage. Just so much power coming out of that, potentially, if he gets that build.
Yeah, kind of crazy. That's like a thing that can happen. But yeah, these picks and bans so far, kind of what we were expecting to see, kind of what we were talking about. The Luna did show up here, and the Vice, a very nice surprise. But there's the Finny coming out from a named team. So likely will be Hamster Quest on the Vice goalie, and the Finny once again for the midfield. I would be surprised if they switched that around, because General Tree was putting in some reps on the Finny midfield, but I could go either way, really. And there's the Asher pickup as well on pick number 5, and there's looks like Imi goalie for pass. It could be Imi midfield, but I'm assuming it's Imi goalie, though it could just be Sky Jengi on the Kai again as well. But a lot of damage kind of from both teams, just all around. This could be a very high kill match.
That it could. And I think I definitely agree that it's probably an Imi on the goalie there. Sky Jengi could run it back with the Kai. There is some room for comfort in being warmed up on a character and not switching up midway through a series. But I think the Kai word is just so much better on AtLab with the Imi to support, because Imi, like you were talking about earlier, it is just so good on AtLab, that Imi goalie. So, but until we're in the game, we can't say for sure. But my guess is going to be right up there with you. It's going to be Imi goalie with Kai word and X versus the Vice goalie with the Fini midfielder Asher forward. If they really want to mess with the meta, they could even throw the Asher on goalie, because she's not a bad goalie, and then run like a double ranged forward comp with the Vice and the Fini. But that one is a whole lot less likely than I think having the Vice on goalie.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's Ignis on the Asher for a named team. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a Rampage Asher rocking up with Deadeye, Vice, and Finny. And Kai is famously does not have a lot of stagger. Like, Kai is pretty darn squishy. So Tragic or Sky Jengi, whoever's playing that, is likely going to end up being a bit of a target there. And if it is Sky Jengi, and they do kind of focus their efforts on killing the goalie, it could be a big problem for Pass not having a goalie. But likewise, you have X with Rampage and Imi / Kai backing him up, and Vice does not have a lot of stagger as well. So this kind of goes both ways, right? Where you're gonna have you kind of have your targets a little bit pre-selected here, but it looks like the comp, at least for a named team, is what we thought. Hamster Quest is on the Vice goalie with Finny Asher forward, and we'll take a look real quick at Pass. Does in fact, yeah, it's Sky Jengi is on the Kai goalie here with Strike Shot. So pretty much what we were talking about. Tragic is going to be on the Imi midfield here. An interesting pickup, Vambrace, Vicious Vambrace from Ignis, looking to utilize those new healing buffs and foregoing the usual Slick Kicks pickup. Not something that we normally see, but just looking to stay alive in the face of all of this Deadeye, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. If you can stay alive and your opponent can't, it's going to be a big thing. But that doesn't mean the double barrier does go down here. Asher not able to rotate around as fast, but rotating fast enough is the eject button Vice special, but it's not enough there. The Fanio was just a little too slow on the save there. Not able to fish it out of the goal there, and the Greatest Beam just kind of sends that one in. That's a first point in 22 seconds. Which is kind of weird, because usually that first point is usually one of the longer ones. The teams kind of gauge each other, but I guess going into this game 3, they kind of want to just be done with it. They said, we know the other team well enough. We know what they can do, what they won't do, and we're going to play against it. Ignis, though, very low, but heals up a lot with those Vambraces right there.
However, both barriers going down is not particularly great for a named team. And Ignis is still just taking a lot of damage. Gets staggered here as well. The Van Brace is not enough, but greatest meme with the Bell Ringer who's going to be able to secure the point, pick it up for pass. And it looks like a named team's defense is kind of just melting away in this first round. The greatest meme and Tragic putting a real number onto General Twee and Hamster Quest. When they get up into your face like that, Vice and Finny kind of collapse, just being like ranged characters that they are. And the greatest meme already has 4 rampage stacks. He's pretty big, and just walking up to these smaller characters and winning strike wars.
But now he has 0 stacks on that rampage because he died. That's the win con right there, and that's a goal scored by General Twee. Almost would have liked to see the delay on the goal for a half second just to kill Tragic there, and just put a little bit of more experience there. But they're going to go for the safe option, score the goal, don't care about the experience, the energy tax. Seems to have a pause here. SkyJengi is, I believe, once again having internet issues. It appears that it might have been SkyJengi in the character select that had that. So we might be resuming this one in overtime. Depends on how fast that reconnect happens. We might even restart the game. It's not even the end of the first set yet. So they might forgo SkyJengi and sub someone else in. There's a lot of options that this could go, but if you just bear with us for a little bit, we will be resuming it at some point, one way or another, with or without SkyJengi. And there he is. He's back. Quick reset. Wait for him to strike the core. And we're not even at overtime yet, which is nice. He's walking around in circles, and I think he's spinning to say that he's ready to go, but he hasn't emoted. Okay, there's the strike shot to symbolize that he's ready to go. And we're good. We are going. 10 seconds left before overtime starts, but at least not starting in overtime. That's going to be a kill onto Tragic immediately. Hamster Quest 12 pointing forward and using the ult. That's going to be General Twee getting a second barricade, using the corporate around, and that's going to be the Fani getting that there. I don't know quite how that got redirected. It might have been even Greatest Meme X Maximus onto Ignis, maybe? Not quite sure how that went at that angle there at the end.
It looked like it got around the Bell Ringer. And Greatest Meme kind of hit it backwards a little bit there, because General Twee set it up with the core flip to be on the backside, like right as it went off, pretty much.
I mean, regardless, there was an Asher ult there, so it's not really an own goal. In fact, really, it's a big brain play by the Greatest Meme to prevent Ignis from getting the assist there and the extra experience. But that is going to be a very quick flip from the 2-point lead here. Pass is now losing that first set, and a named team seems to have found their stride again, and we're back in that sweet 5-point set meta. Fani has options here: Glass Cannon for damage, Twin Drive for damage, Monumentalist for damage. I say Twin Drive for damage, of course, because triple take. Probably not going to take that one. Even has Rapid Fire for the primary. Is going to go Glass Cannon in the end. A little bit of a risky pickup versus a Brawl comp, because you can get that removed pretty easily if you're not a goalie sitting in the back. But that doesn't mean that Big Fish goes to X for even more size. Might of the Colossus will be massive, literally, on the Greatest Meme if he picks it up later. Rapid Fire going to Vice, no surprise there, very good on her. Peak Performance on Aimee, generally good. Twin Drive on Asher, kind of alright. And of course, the Chrono Boost on Kai is an amazing ability there.
Yeah, some pretty nice pickups here, kind of all around. More size on the Greatest Meme is a bit scary, as look how much area that Bellringer takes up with the X Maximus. That's kind of insane. They're just really playing around this guy, just taking up so much space. However, the power core from Hamster Quest will be enough to snipe him off of the map as he went back to get the orb here. And now it's the power play for a named team. They've got one barrier. They're looking for more. General Twee trying to keep this up here. But Tragic is going to be able to buy a bit of time before the Greatest Meme to come back online. Ignis now receiving the core here against SkyJengi, able to win the strike war point blank and open up that side of the goal. Giga coming out, but unfortunate angle. SkyJengi going to send it a little bit backwards there, and it will be the point going over to a named team.
Tragic to see the, and not the player tragic, just generally tragic, to see that there. A little bit of patience off of SkyJengi would have meant that after the Fani strikes it, then you can Giga and ensure that that doesn't happen, but a little bit pressured here after that very swift 3-point lead, or 3-point set from ANT there. Able to just get all those points very quickly. Great usage of that primary from Hamster Quest. Has the Corp as well, going to send it down to Twee. Glitch Pop from Tragic misses, and that's going to be Kai going off the map there. But that is a 1v1, and the Greatest Meme does not just lose those 1v1s. Is just going to be able to send that down to the bottom. There's not much you can do as goalie there. General 2 is playing a little bit far forward to try and help with the kill and with the momentum, but it did get past. And therefore, Greatest Meme able to secure that, bringing it 1-1 in this set. Going to be bell ringing it to dribble along the bottom. The Fini triple take is a little awkward there with the dribble, but so far so good. No barriers going down for either team. Hamster Quest sends it into the grand finale. And General Twee just going to dribble it around. This Giga's really good to speed it up into the barrier there so that no one can get there in time. Ignis, though, managing to use that dash into the barrier. Card goes wide, barely misses Skyjengi there. Would have been absolutely amazing hit from General Twee there. Has the core flip as well to General Twee use it, but immediately gets countered by Tragic. Triple take is good, but not good enough. Kai is there sitting in the goal box, ready against any of that sort of shenanigans. Tragic, though, cyber sweeps down to the bottom. Glitch pops up to the top, but again, Hamster Quest not going to let that pass. Tragic very low here, and there are abilities that are going to be coming up in just a second to kill, but not just yet. Has a couple more seconds to live, but there it goes down to the dash that comes off cooldown for Asher there. Was playing a little bit too much on the edge, and that is a power play, but Skyjengi, he just takes those power plays and says, you know what, I'm just going to win. Nah, I'd win.
And now core flip coming out from Tragic, but a great grand finale from General Twee. Sees it redirected to bring down, passes barrier instead. And now Hamster Quest looking to set up something here, bringing down General Twee in the midfield. Looks for the dribble in the black hole, but it goes a little bit high. Now it's in the great memes hand. Supernova comes out. Bellringer sends it back. Core flip from Hamster Quest to get it past the X Maximus. And Cyberswipes here from Tragic, looking to send it back in, but Hamster Quest will hold it down and get it back over to Ignis. Looks for the dash, but Skyjengi will save it twice here. Ignis gonna have another chance. Back pass to Twee. Pass up to Hamster Quest to teleport it up. Grand finale coming out. Able to pop it. Skyjengi got the elusive, but not quite in time for the strike. As now it will be a named team who bring it to set point once again.
Yeah, absolutely amazing as well to see the named team really did not let that last loss get to them. It would not be surprising to see them really struggling along in the first part of this, but they are going in stride and they are just taking out their vengeance. They didn't see that last match as a disappointment. They didn't see that as, oh, we've lost. They just see it, oh yeah, now we just need to take our anger out of that loss on our opponents. And they were just going for the bloodthirsty kill after bloodthirsty kill. Great ult from Hamster Quest to kill the goalie. Great grand finale to send it backwards. General Twee unfortunately did get countered by Glitch Pop, but that's going to be a card onto the IME. Ignis a little bit too slow on that dash forward, means the goal is not secure just yet, and Kai is almost back 2 seconds on that. General Twee takes damage to the black hole. Ignis goes off the edge of the map with a Glitch Pop, and that is no more Rampage stacks. Glitch Pop, or the core flip, is good though from General Twee. Holds it a little too long, stalls a little bit of time. Glitch Pop and Bull Rush means that that barrier at the top is going down. The Giga Blast is really nice, but not nice enough. Core flip out of Hamster Quest is going to mean that he's buying just a little more time, trying to go for these corner clears, trying to get it out there. Grand Finale is good. Black Hole sends it backwards, but the greatest meme is very low and is going to get knocked all the way to the other side of the map, but not off the map, importantly, off of that Vice ult, and is not close enough, unfortunately, to actually get the goal there, and is just taking so much damage here. Use the bell ring around the bottom, but General Twee is sitting there. Ignis is now in front of the goal, but Kai did not clear to the top, just cleared down the middle unexpectedly, and now that's a cyber sweep again. Ignis misses the strike, and again is just a little bit too late on these dash primaries to actually secure these goals, and that's going to be the greatest meme, tying this up 2-2 and taking us to another 0.5.
Greatest meme, keeping it close here as we look to lock into another kind of long series of events. General Twee is already at level 7, the highest in the lobby, whereas Meme is level 4 and Ignis and Skyjengi just both kind of sitting at level 5 right now. But these rounds have been going on a pretty long time, all things considered. The Rampage stacks haven't gotten too out of hand, though, which is kind of interesting. It's been a lot of the midfielders kind of getting these barriers. Greatest Meme only has 2, and Ignis has none at the moment, which is kind of interesting. Well, that's going to probably affect that as well, as the stacks will get reset right there. Hamster Quest finding the KO, but General Twee also getting KO'd right here, making it a 2v2 now. Skyjengi and Ignis in this midfield. Tragic also backing him up, but they're looking for the barrier here. Core flip coming out from Hamster Quest will buy a bit of time here for General Twee to respawn, but immediately the greatest meme just walks up and KOs Hamster Quest. The goalie is down. Vice does not have the stagger to deal with that right now. It is up to Ignis and General Twee to try and hold this barrier. Greatest meme passes to Tragic though, and it will fall here, and with energy up, it could be a bit scary here. Pass. Skyjengi fires. The core flip is blocked by General Twee. Hamster Quest teleporting in though. Giga Blast comes in and Hamster Quest can't eject button back in time. It's Pass who will find the sets and tie it up 1-1. Absolutely amazing there at the end for Pass to come back from that. And now
It's tied up, yeah. 1-1 going to this draft. Aimee gets free explosive entrance, also denies Vice, so I'll be surprised if she doesn't pick it up. But she does have the option of Orb Dancer, 1-2 Punch, and Adrenaline Rush, which she's going to go for in the end. But that does mean that Vice gets explosive entrance, which is amazing on that goalie. Kai gets stacks on stacks, which is also amazing. The Fini has the option of Reptile Remedy just to stay alive a little bit longer, stack up some stagger, potentially for a reverb or a bulk up down the line. But that does mean that 1-2 punch falls to X, and Prize Fighter falling to Ignis, meaning that he's going to be KOing even more. So both teams going more for the KO style, but I'm a little surprised that General 2 goes for the Reptile Remedy there instead of more KOing. But that's what they chose, and we're going to see how that plays out in this game.
Yeah, more speed on Sky Gengi is pretty scary as well, but I mean, a pretty quick KO coming out here is really unfortunate right now. As General Tweet is just once again going to get taken off the map. The Reptile Remedy not going to be enough to deal with that knockback here, and yeah, just a quick little setup, some pass plays to capitalize there. We'll see Pass bring it home, take that first point in the set. And a couple nice Rampage stacks on the greatest meme as well, who's getting pretty big and pretty scary right now. This X is really starting to scale already to begin with. And it's gonna, I don't know, it's gonna be kind of interesting. I think the greatest meme has a lot more potential for damage right now than Ignis, which is weird because there's a Vice and Fini backing him up. But if those Prize Fighter stacks don't come online, then this Pass team is going to be pretty terrifying. Twee has already been dying a lot, and just look at that damage coming out right there. And, I mean, that being said, Ignis will find a KO and get that second Prize Fighter stack, which is huge. As now, I mean, they're going to be able to compete. The Rampage stacks getting reset on Meme. That's pretty big. And there's going to be energy up as well for a named team. Ignis and Hamster Quest both going to have their flips to work with. Ignis getting the barrier and burning his right there, though. But with an open goal, could be a point coming through. Hamster Quest with the flip, tries to pass it down to himself, doesn't quite catch it. Grand finale here from General Tweed. Glitch pop from Tragic, though, is going to be able to recover that, send it backwards, and get the barrier here. Sky Gengi pushing up with the barrage, sends it right to the greatest meme who pops the X Maximus, is able to just punch it through, and now it's Pass once again on set point.
Yeah, and you saw that Ignis actually used pretty much the entire kit, including the core flip, to try and kill Sky Gengi, which would have been amazing if it worked out, but in the end, it didn't, so no third Prize Fighter stack and no abilities, and the goalie doesn't even die for it, so very unfortunate there. And that's going to be the goal scored. Hamster Quest trying to cover the top side with the ult, but in the end is not going to be enough, and that is Pass really just moving back in this flying fashion.
Yeah, Pass, I mean, looking good, but I mean, it's been kind of crazy this whole series. Is one team will just sweep a set, and then you never know, the other one could just come back out of nowhere and just sweep it for fun. But there is Quick Strikes and Catalyst. Yeah, I mean, for real. But Catalyst getting picked up here by the greatest meme, very scary. And Quick Strike's actually falling down to the Aimee. Ignis opting for the heavy impacts here. Interestingly enough, it does take it away from the Aimee, but it also kind of denies his own Vice, and of course gives up the Quick Strikes to Tragic instead of just taking that. So maybe a bit of a misdraft there from a named team, but they still get Hot Shot. But I mean, that's a really scary draft from Pass. They got Primetime Kai, Catalyst X, and Quick Strikes Aimee out of that.
Yeah. I would say it's more of a risky draft than a misdraft, because if Ignis can get the kills and if they can get those KOs, it's definitely worth going for that heavy impact. But that's a big if right now when they are not able to get the damage out, and the greatest meme is able to just sit here in front. And Ignis is trying to kill the Aimee and the Kai because they have those lower stagger bars, but I think at the end of the day, it's actually the X that needs to be taken out, because he's the one that's the really big trouble here. Not able to just stand in front of the goal and really just 1v2 against these two range characters. It's a great kill, though. Great find. And that is another Prize Fighter stack. That's a barrier going down. Core flip is available for Ignis, but he actually used it, and unfortunately does get the barrier. And that is going to be the Asher dying, -1 Prize Fighter, and minus the Rampage stacks. Minus energy as well, although not too much after using the core flip. Really unfortunate there, and a really good find for the Pass team.
Yeah, now barriers open once again for the side of a named team. This is not looking particularly great, as the greatest meme has gotten a bit big, and Tragic also has this core just up in this top corner right now, looking for an angle, looking for a pass or a shot. I'm going to get KO'd, though, instead. and make it a power play here for a named team. But Sky Jenki pushing up a little bit, looking to buy some time here. Grand Finale coming out, not going to be able to find the shot. Actually will find the shot, gets it right to Ignis, who's able to win the strike war. Now it's the greatest meme, who's looking pretty low, gets KO'd off the edge into the goal box here. Now the power play starts for a named team. General Tree brings it up to the top side, does have a flip to work with. Earns Sky Jenki's core flip, which is pretty big here as well. So far not able to score the point though. The greatest meme does come back. Tragic holding it down, flip here from General Tree, blocked by the X Maximus, and double KOs now coming out. It's a 2v2 core flip here from Ignis though. Is he going to be able to get into the bottom side as was Tragic gone? There's no one there to cover that angle, and so a named team will be able to tie it up 1-1, but still, it's looking kind of close. I mean, these rounds are volatile, to say the least.
Yeah, volatile indeed. But now with those 3 stacks of Prize Fighter, that's a lot of damage on this Asher. And even if she does die, there's still going to be a lot. So really good to find that kill onto Tragic there. Potentially trying to kill Sky Jenki here, but not going to find it. 1 barrier to 1 barrier because one does go down here for ANT, and that's the second one going down as well. Ignis just not able to find this other kill to even up these, to make it uneven so they can actually do some stuff here. And they really need to find those kills with this kill comp, otherwise the control comp with Kai and Image teleporting around is really going to make this difference. You can see Ignis using so many abilities to try and kill either Tragic or Sky Jenki, but ultimately that means that Asher is not a character for the control because there's no abilities left on it, just Strike, and almost dying as well to the Firewall Sentry here, and that's going to be dying there to the X. Incredibly, though, the Glitch Pop does not hit. Good clear by Hamster Quest and Twee does still have that core. Going to use it now, but sends it right into the X, who strikes it right back. You cannot get it past an X that big. Now, I think a down clear angle there was pretty open, and it's a little sad that General Twee doesn't go for it. Now, of course, you don't want to just clear it to empty dead space like that against a Kai, but it's better than clearing it right into the waiting hands of X, who is actually very low here and potentially killed. If Ignis can get a little more damage, and there we go. That's back up to the 3 Prize Fighter stacks. Still, the Rampage stacks not really ever getting anything done, and that's going to be Kai nearly dying, but thankfully for him, holds on to those stacks on stacks. And core flip from Hamster Quest just to secure that goal. Brilliantly done. Tragic tried to go for a Cyber Sweep strike, but because of the core flip, couldn't get there in time. So beautiful by ANT, bringing it up to a 0.5 here. And again, passes 1 point away from winning the entire series here. These are tied up 1 game to 1 game, and they're on 2 sets, 2 points. Just 1 point is enough to get them to win here and pretty much secure a spot for the playoffs. Not exactly, but pretty close to it.
Yeah, it's still got a few more weeks to go through, but it'll be a really good, tiebreaker game to, hopefully get into a 4th or a 5th or 6th place spot. But a big KO from Ignis there does mean another power play for the side of a named team. However, the Firewall Sentry from Tragic, it's enough to bring down that second barrier, but Ignis finds a KO on to Sky Jenki. It's just Tragic left. The Kai goes down. Greatest team will respawn here. 1 barrier will be lost, though. Second barrier here. Ignis does burn the core flip, though, but they have the momentum going and the power play as well. Sky Jenki just now respawning here and kind of lagging out a little bit, it looks like, but Tragic is able to hold it down against Ignis for the time being. Ignis trying to pass it down. Sky Jenki will cut that pass off, but Grand Finale coming out. Core flip from Tragic to send it wide, trying to get it over the greatest meme, but doesn't even need to. It hits the demon angle. Hamster Quest is like pixels away, and it just goes right in. That pass taking the series. What a weird ending to that.
Of all of the ways that could end, after a brutal bloodbath, just everybody killing each other, the thing that gets it is a little Roomba, bounces off the wall, turns towards the goal, and just creeps slowly towards it. Hamster Quest is running towards it in slow motion like a Hollywood movie, and just as the fingertip brushes against the core as it goes in. What a way to end this amazing best of 3.
Yeah, pretty crazy indeed. And Ignis actually comes out there with 11 KOs, so maybe that heavy impacts pickup was worth it after all. Those power plays, they put in a lot of work, but here's the other thing, is that unfortunately they did lose. So a lot of KOs from the heavy impacts, but ultimately the core was just in Pass's hands more, and they got the goals. And, certainly losing those early sets mattered a lot. It's just getting that early momentum was pretty big. So, pretty crazy. But Pass, they were playing good all day, and that game 2 was pretty wild. To be sure, that incredible sweep. But with that, big win. I mean, that's going to put Pass at 3-3 now, um, which is really good. And since they've beat a named team, like that's just more like tiebreaker points and whatnot. So their playoff dreams are looking real at the moment. And I mean, I think there's much else to say there. 189 redirects on the Finny once again, putting in a lot of work on this character in the midfield. Despite losing the series at the end of the day, still putting out a really great performance there.
Yeah, but also great performance. The 9 goals from the greatest meme. Really just kind of the MVP in a lot of ways there, with just being able to, as a midfielder or a goalie, it's great to know when you have a scorer like the greatest meme there, that you know that as soon as the core is in their hands, they're sitting in front of the goal, they're getting it in there. You can basically just take your hands off the keyboard, say, he's going to win it. I don't even need to do anything. And just that assurance time after time. Like, you can see as well, like, the greatest meme only had 30 shots. That's not a crazy amount of shots to have. And hits a third of them as goals. Just gets it through so much of the time. Incredible to see.
Yeah, pretty stellar series there, but that's all that we've got today. Just those 2 series. So congratulations to the teams that won. But yeah, that's all from us right now. We're gonna be getting out of here in just a moment. Do you have anything else to say here, AJ, before we dip?
No, I'd like to thank production and everyone for coming out. It's been a blast casting this and a blast watching these games, so I hope to see more later.
All right, yeah. So that's all from us. See you next time. And I don't know, come back next week to see where this all goes. Playoffs are well, actually not next week. I think next week's off. The week after that, playoffs are coming in soon. So goodbye and good luck to all the teams still fighting for a spot.